Hey, back at Runyon Canyon. See what happens today. Hey. Hi. What's up? Okay. Parking was terrible as usual here at Runyon Canyon. Haha, cordial points. I don't know. What would those be called? Cordial coins? CC coins? Curious coins? Curiosity coins? We'll see how well the internet works here. Talking with people on the show. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Joe.
How's it going, Reed?
Good. Can you hear me okay? Am I roboting?
No, it seems to be clear to me.
Oh dear. That wasn't on my end. He just dropped off. 50cc points. It reminds me of Mario Kart. 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc. That shouldn't have been my problem. Hey, what happened?
That was definitely my fault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How's the foot traffic looking so far there?
Foot traffic is always great here. Yeah, lots of people.
Is
So we'll see what
Dolly
happens.
with you today? Or?
He's coming later. I think someone's interested. Hi.
Nice.
Any opinions on any of that? Doing a podcast today, doing some interviews, or not? No, they're just wanting the water.
Mm.
Hi, want some water?
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Is the COVID vaccine we're taking? No.
Okay.
100% not.
Okay. We'd love to chat about that if you're interested.
I would. I gotta go, but don't get it.
Sure thing. Sure thing. All right. Later. Someone
It's a
looked
shame.
at the topic, is the COVID vaccine we're taking, and she said, no, definitely not.
100% confidence too.
I should have a looping audio track of some kind of a chill audio. I have the option to loop whatever sounds I have on here. Can play the applause whenever they sit down. And then when we find a topic,
Nice.
maybe that we can just start the interview after that. After recorder's done and we officially get started.
Mm-hmm. Did you produce that music, or it's quite good?
No, I found it on the YouTube music library. It's
Oh,
called
nice.
Bluesy Vibes. Oh dear.
Very good. Yeah, I took your book recommendation on the Constitution of
Hello.
Knowledge.
Good, how are you?
Enjoyed your content on YouTube.
Oh, you do? Amazing. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Chris,
Chris, hi. Nice to meet you. Appreciate it.
I get out of the house. Stop by.
Sweet, sweet. Did you come here because of the meetup, or you were just here in general?
I've seen you online. I know of your presence.
Sweet. Awesome.
Yeah, for a hike in to see you.
Oh, cool. Awesome. How was your hike? Did you go on a hike or about
no, I
to?
just got here.
Sweet.
So you show up here at 12 o'clock on Sunday?
I try to, yeah. Well, somewhere at 12 o'clock. Yeah. Hmm.
I have a question for you.
Sure. Want to
So,
sit down and chat for a minute?
Sure.
Alrighty. So your plan was to come to a hike and to just chat with me? Nice. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you have a question or a comment or whatever you want to say?
So yeah, like given the nature of what you do, like I wonder how you're able to maintain your belief in like the ability for rational language to get at something like a universal truth.
Mm-hmm. To use rational language to get a universal truth?
Yeah.
How do I cope, and how do I still think that's a thing we can do? After talking
Well,
with
do
people?
you believe that?
I do believe there is ways to be better and worse at coming to, certain provisional levels of confidence about things.
Provisional levels of confidence. Confidence that something might be universally true,
Yes, objectively true.
truthful,
The case,
true regardless of context.
yeah, the actual state of affairs in reality not depending on anyone's belief about it or opinion. If everyone stopped believing in it, it would still not go away.
Right. So there are ways of rationalizing that don't necessarily rely on arbitrary languages.
Languages is a thing that humans made up, but it's about intention of our words. Whatever words we use, we can use shared understanding to kind of latch on to certain things in the world. I'm not a language expert, but I don't see too big of a problem. We can
It's
say,
incredibly powerful and useful for sure.
yeah,
But the concept of like a universalizing truth, it looks a lot like what we had when we believed in a God.
yeah. Is there a relation in your mind from a universal truth to a like an absolute truth, like a God?
Yeah, it looks very similar to me.
Does universal mean absolute in your mind?
I mean, well, it's a concept that doesn't really make sense to me, but it seems that people believe that there is something that we can get at that I've been referring to as universal truth. Maybe there's a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, what does universal mean to you? I don't know how I would describe it if I had to. It's just something that is the case for everyone. It's not a personal thing.
Yeah, something that's like correct or accurate within a particular context, right? And then when we say something is true, I presume we mean something more than that. It's not simply correct or accurate within a particular context, but true regardless of context.
True regardless of context.
I assume that's how people use the word mostly. Do you think I'm mistaken about that, or?
I don't know. Regardless of context. Like regardless of, what do you mean by context?
Well, within the context of a mathematical language, 2 + 2 = 4. I wouldn't claim that that's like a transcendent truth. I'd say that's within the context of a particular language.
And the axioms of the mathematical system that go into that
Right.
language game.
Right. So I've been listening to William James's Varieties of Religious Experience. Have you come across that book? Or?
I haven't. Varieties of Religious Experience. Is that the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
William James was a scientist and philosopher.
And pragmatism, I think, is close
Yeah.
in my mind to him.
Yeah, he
a
was
kind of pragmatism.
supposedly founded, or was one of the founding members of that school of thought, I guess. I mean, I'm not super well versed, and a lot of the book goes over my head, but there are bits and pieces that really resonate with my thought.
Yeah.
Probably,
What's something from the book that resonates with you that you think is good and true that people should know about?
well, I wouldn't claim anything to be true.
Or you wouldn't claim that?
No, I
Not
wouldn't
truly true.
not truly true in the sense that other people make that claim. It's just incredibly powerful with respect to making sense of why people believe what they believe and anticipating maybe the future of how people are organized. Like the future of religion, the future of finance, the future of yeah. Well, probably the biggest idea that I've really resonated with in his book is that the concept of truth or philosophical ideas are contrasted against religious ideas for not like it's very difficult to rationalize a difference between religious and philosophical ideas. We do it for political ends. We do it in order to compete against like the power of a monotheistic church.
So there's utility behind truth statements more than they're trying to get at the world accurately. There's a power element to it where there's kind of a politics.
Well, I think it's the only element.
Are all statements of truth statements of power ultimately, or attempts?
Well, they're all statements of truth. Successful statements of truth that prevail are empowering, simply because they prevail. I'd like to hear your opinion on the relationship between power and truth.
Yeah. I'm not a postmodernist where Foucault would say, knowledge and power are like the exact same thing, like power knowledge. I've heard of that, and I think they're different. I think knowledge is something we can use for political ends and moral ends, but there's also a way of just inquiry and investigation, trying to remove our biases, our attempts at using power to describe the world. What's an example in history? I think of Lysenko talking about a certain kind of way of growing plants that was in line with his Marxist philosophy, and he thought, I don't know if that's related to power or not, but that didn't work out. What else to think about there?
Yeah, have a hard time rationalizing how to differentiate truth from power. Certainly, like, people, like, religious emotions are a phenomenon. Religious experiences are a real phenomenon. People have these experiences, and they compel them to believe this or that. And I think that goes a long way to explain how people can believe in like a truth, capital T truth.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had some chats earlier today?
I haven't. I just got sat down 15 minutes ago, like basically when you came up. I'd be glad to continue the conversation after your hike. If you want to think about these things, take a break, or you can just hang out and wait for someone else. We can chat with people on the stream, whatever you want to do. Or we can continue.
Well, I don't particularly want to just like to engage you if you're interested in this subject.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll go for a walk and come back.
Okay, cool. I'll be here for a while, sure. Feel free to take a water too.
Thanks.
And Chris, you said?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Reed.
See you soon.
This hour we close.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I think he found me on Meetup or my social media, and then came here to like both go on a hike and to chat with me. So that's cool.
hmm So you post
What
on
did you think
social
of
media
that?
somewhere where you're planning to be and stuff.
Yeah, I never knew who was going to show up.
hmm Yeah, I find this. It's almost like the difficulty people have with the concepts are more based in the language surrounding it as opposed to the core concepts. I mean, I might be misconceiving that, but it's almost as though they're unhappy with the language used to describe it, and then that gets in the way of the utility of what's actually at the core of what's being spoken about. Like to try to say that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is only relevant when you say it within inside that construct. But to me, that, that it's been said before that mathematics is a universal language. Regardless of how you describe 2 or 4 or plus or equals, I don't know. In my mind, those things remain true, but maybe I'm not understanding something.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the main thing we're talking about is. The relationship between power and knowledge.
Yeah, that started to get interesting too there.
And language and utility, religious experience,
Yeah,
philosophy versus religion.
yeah, there seem to be. He's obviously thinking a lot about it, which is good, but there seems to be a lot of threads weaving together that might be difficult for us to track. He's already got these threads going in his mind, but when they're all included at once, it did get a little confusing of what the core of what he wanted to talk about was. But
Hi,
What is this?
it's my YouTube channel hobby.
Can I?
Want to do it?
Yeah.
Want to do it?
Yeah,
Love
I only
to.
have like 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Okay, we'll see what
Is that long
happens.
enough or no?
It's okay. Hang on, I got someone.
Yep.
I'll let you back in a minute. Is my phone visible?
not that I can see.
Can you see my phone on the screen? Yeah, okay.
No, I cannot. No.
Okay, well that's an obvious one.
All right.
Let's do well, everyone does the COVID vaccine. Can I sit?
Sure. And you can listen in too if you want. It should be working. If it's not, just turn it off and turn it back on. Test, test, hello? Okay. Might be a little delayed, but yeah.
It's good. Well, yeah, okay. I have one.
Okay. Welcome.
Put these on?
Yeah, it helps. Testing, hello.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
What's your name?
My name's Allie.
Allie. My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Reed.
A-L-I?
Yes,
Gotcha. Did you just finish a hike?
I did.
How was your hike?
It was good. It was a classic Runyon Canyon influencer. Didn't see any influencers hike.
Okay.
So, a little disappointed. I had my friend here from out of town, wanted to show her a TikToker, but we didn't get there.
Oh, is that a usual thing that happens? There's some kind of influencer up there
Yeah.
at top doing the photos?
Have you ever heard of David Dobrik?
Yeah.
Okay, he comes here a lot.
Okay.
So every time I cross my fingers and I'm like, please, be in a vlog. It just never.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, wanted to have a quick chat about something?
Yes.
And you okay if I stream and record? Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. What do you want to talk about?
So one of the post-it notes was an institution lying about something. Is that right?
I forgot what the wording exactly is. You can just grab that post-it and bring it over, and we can put it on the board to talk about. Thank you. Are any mainstream institutions deliberately lying about anything?
Yes. Okay. So what comes to mind is the NFL and CTE, brain damage. And I know they're working toward fixing it, or they're honestly, I feel like it's a facade that they care. But the fact that they still will let like head hits to the degree that happen constantly is such a, and I don't know what they tell their players as to like the liability that you playing this sport for X amount of years is going to lead to that much of a quicker death. I don't know how they go about that, but I feel like they're lying to their players.
Okay. What I'm hearing you say is the NFL is potentially lying to its players about the level of danger
Yes.
playing in the NFL is?
Yes.
Like, if you're playing in the NFL for the next 10 years, you have NFL will be saying you have like a 5% chance of danger, and what percent would you say?
Exactly. So I think they've opened up about it because I don't know if you know who Aaron Hernandez is, but he was a famous Patriots player and he committed suicide in jail because he committed murder. And they analyzed his brain, they picked it apart, and they found just the most, like, the ruptured veins that produce CTE.
What is CTE?
So I don't know what the C and the T and the E stand for, but it's basically like your neural pathways just absolutely giving out because you've had way too many blows to the head. Like brain damage, essentially. So when that came out in like 2008, they definitely tried to downplay it, right? Oh yes, this exists. We'll get a new helmet design and it'll all be okay. So I think you're right. Like it's like a 10% awareness that they'll bring to it, but it needs to be like 90% because this is like people's lives we're talking about. And CTE leads to like a massive suicide rate, PTSD, all this stuff, and they just like I personally think they lied to them about it.
The NFL lies to its players about the extent of the damage.
Yeah.
All right. And want to talk about that for a minute? There's a timer there if you want to set the time.
Oh.
Or we ought to add time already.
Is it seconds or minutes?
Minutes. Turn to
Okay.
the left and you'll.
Oh, okay. Let's do 4 minutes now.
All
Perfect.
Right. And would you mind to move your water a little bit
Oh,
away
yes.
from the lens? There we go. Perfect. Great. All right. So the claim is the NFL is lying to its players about the extent of the danger of playing in the NFL. Can we make it even more concrete? Or just they're lying about the level of danger, and what's the best metric for the level of danger?
Right. I think this is why it's so confusing because it's not a pure lie, right? So it's not like CTE doesn't exist, scientists are wrong, let's all just go back to doing what we're doing. They do accept it because there's scientific proof of how detrimental it is to people, but they're accepting it at a degree that is so incredibly low that it's almost more harmful to players that they know about it but think that it's not anything to worry about versus actually having to take it into consideration when you go down that career path. And the other thing, I mean, I know that there's like the NFL has a lot of underrepresented communities in it where they almost don't really care about they don't really necessarily think about the medical aspects because football can just be a way out. And I think the NFL takes advantage of that fact.
Okay. So is this another accusation of not only malice but racist malice?
Yes.
Okay.
Racist malice.
Wow. All right. And what is the main reason? What is your confidence that this is happening? That the NFL is doing this? If all the way to the right is absolutely yes, the NFL is lying in this racist, malicious way, or absolutely no, they're not, or I'm not sure. Where's your current confidence about it?
I would say there.
About there.
So I don't know, what is that, like 90%?
Okay. And what's the main reason or evidence that you have to be at that level of confidence?
Because my mom's a scientist and she worked at a startup that worked with Alzheimer's, which is a very similar disease to CTE. And I've been exposed to some of the fact patterns and like been made aware that this is so pervasive and detrimental to the health of these players that to be talking about it, how little we are, is absolutely crazy to me.
What kind of scientist is your mom? Or Alzheimer medical doctor?
She's a
researcher?
She's a molecular biologist.
Molecular biologist?
Okay.
Okay.
So she works in biotech. She got her PhD in toxicology.
Okay. Is she coming across patients that formerly played in football?
No.
Or no?
No. So it's the link between Alzheimer's and CTE that I'm exposed to. It's not actual CTE that I have like concrete evidence on.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my thing isn't here.
What's the best reason to believe this is happening?
I think the studies that have been done to evaluate post-NFL players show rampant neurological problems, and they've done very controlled, like double-blind studies, and yet that information is like seemingly still suppressed and not talked about and not brought to the awareness that I think it should be.
Okay.
And I think because the NFL is concerned about money.
Concerned about money. Because an implication of this is an implication of this that football should not be happening at all?
See, that's I don't know. Like,
Or any high impact sport should not be happening?
I want to say yes. If you're concerned about the longevity of your life, then you should probably not play football.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to be made illegal. It's just people need
No,
to be more aware
it's
of
not
the risk.
Yes. It needs to be a more like definitive. I am aware of this. I've been told the science. I don't know if they have to take a class.
Do people need to take a class
I think
and
they
sign a waiver?
Yes, I think the NFL has to institute like when your agent is signing you, you have to go through a 6-week course of what CTE is and how likely you are to get it if you are to pursue. Because we live in a free country, right? You can't like ban this, that, and the everything. But
who would regulate that? Federally or state?
I would say federally. Otherwise, I think the states would be too different about it, and some would be lax and some would be too stringent.
It'd be interesting to see if, like, I don't know how the NFL leagues work. Are there certain leagues in certain parts of the country, like maybe certain states do it and certain other states don't do it? And we can compare after 10 years to see
that's
the rate of...
Right, but what I'm confident is that we will see that the rate of the states who did do that will have better... I don't know how you necessarily...
I guess the rate would be the same. It would just be the amount of people willing to actually go into the NFL. I don't know.
Yeah. This is something I haven't thought about for more than like 20 minutes in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But
it would just be more well-informed people at risk.
And so
that therefore...
And I wonder what the percentage of people who would have, say, the 6-week training class and say no. Like what... I mean, I would assume it's like 2%.
If no one said no
Right.
after like 5 years of doing it constantly, would it be even worth doing it?
Right. Exactly. But we don't know. We would have to try to find out. So...
Gotcha. Was that our time?
Yes, that is our time.
Sweet, Allie. That was interesting. Never talked about that before. That was fun, though. That was fun, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, this was so cool. I love that you do this on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, no problem. And I'd like to give away one of these little puzzle pieces as a gift. I forgot to set them out. I've got blue,
Aww.
yellow, and red.
Thank you so much.
Which color do you want?
I'll take blue.
Blue? Okay. And they make up a little puzzle piece here.
What's epistemology?
Epistemology is the study of knowledge.
Oh.
But street epistemology is just a friendly way of having conversations that focuses on epistemology and how we know what we know.
So are you going to spend 20 minutes analyzing our discussion as part of the podcast?
We sometimes do review shows, other people in the community. And feel free to take a color. If you see me again, come back and get another color.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome, and I had a really good time.
Yeah, thank you. Later. Take your water. Cool.
Do I have to press X?
X?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's just a magnet first.
Oh, that was so cool. That was so LA.
That's really cool.
Can I take one of these cards?
Sure. Yeah, that's me. You can check out my
Perfect.
stream. We're streaming on Twitch
Awesome.
and YouTube.
Thank you so much, Reed. This is so cool.
Yeah, no problem. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I'll like it on YouTube.
Cool. Hi. Want to do an interview? No worries. All right. Am I still on? Hopefully.
Yes, you are.
Oh, great. Because I switch over to my notes and remove exit solo layout. There we go. Yeah, never talked about that before.
Yeah, it's
I like this question.
yeah. I think it's a really interesting question ethically too. But where's our cutoff ethically to the harm of the participants of something, whether it be a sport or a profession? What's the acceptable level of damage to an informed individual? You know, it's an interesting question. I mean, why don't we still have gladiatorial blood sports? Like,
Yeah, we
you know
don't
what I'm
have
saying?
we don't have
Yeah.
gladiators fighting to the death. I'm sure
Yeah.
if we allowed that, some people would consent to doing it.
Exactly. With fully informed consent, right? They would still make that choice. But at what point does society step in to say, even though you're informed and even though you agree to do it, we think it's not a good thing for people to be dying for an
Yeah, and
entertainment?
like MMA is much worse than football, I assume, at like risk of whatever brain damage.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to see some data on that. I mean,
Sure, I'll be here for interviews if you're interested.
Okay.
Okay.
How's that work? What you interview?
Whatever you want to talk about.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll think about that while I'm jogging.
Yeah. Let me put this post-it back 1 second.
yeah, for sure.
I know, but like, the cake and stuff, we'll get that stuff up there.
Okay. Yeah, and sorry if you like are talking and I completely cut you off by asking
no.
people. That's just my priority.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't. I fully understand that. Yeah. No, I think it is interesting though, the assumption that, I mean, I would agree, I guess, initially that MMA should surely be a much higher risk. You're being literally punched in the face. But yeah, I'm not sure what the repeated action of running into somebody head first, even though you have a helmet on, when they have a helmet and body armor. Yeah, there's definitely.
Hi, how are you? Doing some interviews today for my YouTube channel if you're interested.
Is it for the water?
You don't have to do the interview for the water, it's free. But if you're interested,
How long is it?
however long you want to go for.
I could do it like 2 minutes.
That's a little too short, but I'll be here for a while if you're interested after your hike. Yeah.
We can take a water.
Yeah,
That's so kind of you. Thank you so much.
no problem.
Good luck with your interviews.
Thanks. Maybe think of some answers to those while you're hiking, and we can talk about it when you're done.
Thank you.
Sure. No.
Close.
He's like, 2 minutes? No, that's too short.
Perhaps if you say 2 minutes might be too short, but 4 to 5 is typically where we start. That might
Yeah, my
entice
son
them.
used to say 5-minute interviews, but that was a complete lie. It never happened that way. I
Yeah.
would set a timer, but I would really keep to that.
No, but then they're choosing to continue the conversation as well, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, they might feel the obligation of a longer time frame. They might feel obligated to stay, but if they choose to stay, that's also great. So
Yeah. There's just social pressure of like getting up in them anyway.
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Puppies playing around. Oh. So Dolly said he should be joining at some point. I don't know.
Nice.
And I'm not at my usual spot. Hopefully Jacob knows where to meet me. I think
Oh,
Jacob
Jacob's
is
coming back. That's cool.
Yeah, we finished yesterday. I already cut off.
Yeah, I was saying before, the Constitution of Knowledge was definitely a good recommendation. It's definitely talking exactly about what we were discussing when you recommended it to me. So it's been good so far. I'm probably about halfway through it, but it's good.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, great book.
Hello.
It's not for taking.
All right, I can chat about it if you want. Nope.
Seems to be people that have that opinion might be more outspoken. It's interesting.
Yeah, interesting. My iPad is not liking the stream.
Have you had the
Still
opportunity to
looking
be
okay.
vaccinated? Yeah, it's good. Yep.
Okay. Do what?
Have you had the opportunity to be vaccinated yet, Reed? If you don't mind me asking.
I have. I've had the Pfizer.
Nice.
Well, they were just saying one of the good signs was that we freedom for that week, and it was an American flag. Because LA was the one to make public safety require vaccine cards. Like that New York now too. Like Hamilton is required.
Yeah. You get your man.
Am I still there?
Not that big of a deal.
Yep. Still here.
Okay. Yeah, my iPad is not cooperating.
Oh no.
There we go.
Well, it was all over Santa Monica.
I need to go back to my life. Like, you know, at some point, like, it also feels like even with, like, decisions about, like, family and, like, a lot of these life decisions I'm making.
Let me check my Instagram. I posted asking for topic requests this morning. How do I find those?
Is it under Cordial Curiosity on Instagram?
What's up, Reed?
Yeah. What's up? Oh, and Neil, what's
How's it
up?
going,
Quinn,
dude?
how's it going? Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, this is Asha, my
Hi,
cousin.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome, welcome.
Where's the gang?
Just me right now.
Oh, okay.
Dolly is doing some medical things, and then he'll be here later. And then
Wow.
Jacob should be here at some point.
I never met Jacob. Is he like part of the usual SC group and stuff?
He's new.
Oh, he's new, okay.
He randomly requested a Zoom conversation with me like 2 weeks ago. And I talked with his brother randomly like years ago at VidCon.
Oh, wow.
They're both ex-Mormons,
Ooh, that's cool.
so
That's
it's
awesome.
very interesting. And
Hell yeah. Have you gotten any combos yet?
I have. Another guy, Chris, came, I guess, from the meetup, and he's on a hike right now, so he'll be back.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And that woman is vending down there. Hopefully it's okay today to be out here. We'll see what happens.
You guys got kicked out last time, right?
I know, yeah. And this is the best spot. So I'll let you do some interviews if you want, for sure. I've already had 2, I think. Talked with someone about the NFL lying about brain damage. I've never talked about that before.
NFL lying about brain damage.
Yeah.
Like NFL players are much more brain damaged than the league lets on or something.
Or like the league is just minimizing the extent of the potential danger or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll come right back. You want to maybe see some of the hike?
Sure.
Cool.
You have a nice setup.
Thanks.
Do we have water?
Sure. Is there still water in there?
There is. Should I put some of this in here?
Maybe a couple, yeah. That'd be great. All right. See ya. Awesome. Quinn. Quinn, aka Near from the Discord, made it.
Nice.
Oh, someone's interested. Want some water? And doing some interviews too, if you're interested.
So what?
Doing some interviews for my YouTube channel. Yeah, feel free to sit down. How are you doing today?
All right, how you doing?
Well, thanks. How was your hike?
Painful.
Painful. Well, yeah, at least you did it. That's good.
Yes, sir, I did.
Awesome. What's your name?
Chris Kelly.
Chris Kelly. Cool. My name is Reed.
How you doing, Reed?
Nice to meet you. C-H-R-I-S?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. All right, yeah. Did you see the topics on the board over there, or you want to chat about something else?
No. I mean, I vaguely looked over it.
I basically just have conversations, friendly conversations about whatever people want to talk about. I let them pick a topic, and then I ask questions to help them reflect on whatever.
Go for it.
So, what's an interesting topic over there, or anything you want to chat about? It could be politics, religion, spirituality, science, philosophy.
Whatever you want to talk about. I didn't see it.
Okay. Is the COVID vaccine worth taking? Or any?
I took it, so.
You took it, all right. Or any?
Because I work with people, so. I work with mentally disabled people, so.
Okay.
It was best for me to protect them as much as myself.
Mm-hmm. And another one is like, are any mainstream institutions deliberately lying about anything?
I doubt it.
Doubt it. Is there anything, any kind of thing that people believe, or that you believe, that has been like stigmatized in general in society that should not be stigmatized? More people should believe something that you think is true?
I just think people should use common sense. That's just the reality of it.
All right. Okay. Any unpopular opinions? Anything that if you said you believe that some of your friends might think, oh, you're a bad person for believing that?
I mean, I got friends that are religious, and I'm just not, because I'm atheist, so. So I don't even bring up the subject, because I'm not going to change my mind. They're not going to change theirs, and that's fine. You know, there's no sense in arguing about it, so.
Gotcha. Well, anything around those questions to talk about, or whatever you want to do?
No, it's whatever. I'm just relaxing right now.
Just chill out. Okay. We could talk about the vaccine, potentially.
What about it?
Is the vaccine worth taking?
I think so. I mean, you took all the booster shots before when you went to grade school, so what's the difference?
What's the difference?
You took the measles, the chicken pox, or whatever. Whatever shots that you had to take before you went to school when you was a kid, just add another one.
Just add another one?
Yeah.
It's
the same thing.
Okay. And
there's no conspiracy. It is what it is. I didn't think it'd last this long or be this bad. I mean, it's pretty. The world is different, for sure. And my friend told me this, so this is the new norm.
the
I
new
think.
norm?
Yeah.
Or is he saying like the world's going to be very different now that COVID is here?
COVID is here, and it's just going to be mask all the time, I think, for a while. I mean, it was one thing when it was isolated, like the Ebola in Africa. You could pretty much contain that. But when it went global, that's something totally different.
Yeah,
Totally different.
gotcha. And what is the best reason to take the vaccine besides it being, just like our regular booster shot and vaccines when we're young?
Well, hopefully it'll save your life because people are dying for sure.
Increases safety.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I notice is that it usually affects people who are already compromised. Those are the ones that seem to pass away more often than not. They're compromised, they already have underlying health problems.
COVID affects people with more underlying health issues.
I think, in my personal opinion, seems like it.
So those type of people should even be more incentivized to take the vaccine?
You would think, but
Mm-hmm.
people are going to believe what they want to believe. I took it. I wasn't even on second guess it. I did at first, but then, I seen my other coworkers doing it, so I did it.
You did it first.
No, I did it after they did it first.
You were skeptical at first.
Yeah, because I didn't, yeah, I was, but how's that any different from a flu shot? So it's not, not to me. So I've taken the flu shot and still got the flu.
Yeah. Okay.
So
any reasons to be skeptical about it?
I don't think so. I took it. I'm still here. So I didn't die from it.
Yeah.
So
all right.
It's cool.
Gotcha.
You take it?
I did take it. Yeah.
The
Pfizer.
Pfizer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took that one too.
Twice. Yeah, so cool.
So far so good.
So far so good.
Been tested before that, took the shot, got tested after that. So far so good. Probably need to take it again because people got compromised at work. Actually, the one that didn't take it was the one that got compromised. So we had a coworker that didn't take it, and that person got COVID. So she's not at the job right now.
Gotcha.
Hopefully she'll be back.
All right, maybe last question. Is there anything that could happen next year that would make us change our confidence about it one way or the other? Make us more sure that we did the right thing or less sure that we did the right thing? What are some things that could happen to update our confidence?
I just think you have to wait and see. I mean,
what could
something you can't. I'm not into predictions.
Okay.
I'm more into facts. Either it is or it ain't. Just have to. I just think people need to be, take precautions. Like I said, use common sense. Don't be stupid. Mask up. Take your shot and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Gotcha. Well,
yeah, but you definitely. It's definitely changed. The world has changed. That's a given.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I don't see this. I mean, it's already been 2 years
going on. Yeah.
That's kind of a long time for a world pandemic. Usually, it's over. Well, it wasn't held. Wherever it started at, it didn't get contained, and it got out, and it got out quick. I thought it was a movie at first. So
a movie.
I mean, I actually seen this. There is a movie. I forgot what
Contagion.
movie. Was that it? The movie?
Steven Soderbergh.
I don't remember.
There's a bunch. There's
yeah. So I'm thinking, that's a movie, but then it happened in real life. I'm like, damn. So it actually can happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. We just have to wait and see. Hopefully it works out.
Hopefully. Cool. Well, thanks, Chris. Chris.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the conversation.
No problem.
If you see me again, feel free to stop by.
I'm gonna grab me another one.
Sure.
You recycle?
I do. Yeah. But yeah. I forgot to give him a puzzle piece. Thanks. Am I still here?
Yes, you are.
Great.
Chris seems like a very nice, thoughtful man.
Hello. How are you? Doing some
These are the topics
for my YouTube channel hobby.
Okay. Let's read them.
Sure.
Can I have a water?
And if you can, when I'm doing an interview, just
Yeah, we
remove your video.
You want us to talk
Okay,
about all
will
the
do.
topics?
Just one, ideally. Want to do it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Were you just about to go on a hike, or?
Well, we're done.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah,
How-
we're done.
How was your
yes.
hike?
Well, it was actually really good. It was my first time taking my friend on this hike.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting.
Cool.
Oh, it's a mic situation. Yeah, so I really had a good time. But as far as these topics, though, I want to pick the COVID one. Is it worth taking?
Yeah. What do you think? And what's your first name?
Well, my name's Devan Smith, aka Legendary DYU. Do you understand?
Uh-huh.
I feel like it is worth taking because, I mean, granted, like you got so many different variants of COVID now. It's like you know how the flu hasn't went anywhere, and it was like a big thing when the flu came out, and we still to this day have to take the flu shot.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's just another level of the flu, but times 10. Like at the point, to me, I don't want to go too far with it and say it could possibly be the end of the world. But, you know, like it's leaning to that for me, for the health, department to not really give us short answers. Like they don't really know what to say to us. I asked a lot of questions about, the shots, and they say, well, I don't really know because now like they're getting so much new information and saying, oh, that this shot has to do, all the shots have to do boosters. They need boosters. So it's for me, I mean, I think it's worth it just because of the sanity of them not knowing the full information on what it is. Because they don't know. It's always something new every week. Like, why is it Delta variant? Like, they didn't know about that.
Okay.
But they did.
So
I think.
hypothetically, if we had to take booster shots for the next, like once a year for the next 10, 20 years, would it be still worth it to do that?
Well, because I want to say yes, but then at the same time, it's like no, because you see how the flu shot calmed down after 10 years, and a lot of people don't get the flu shot now, and still don't get the flu shot. So, I mean, still don't get the flu. So, it's just like another thing. We have to wait. I just feel like it is worth it now as far as that topic. Like, is it worth it now? Yes. In 10 years, I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess there's two questions. Is it worth continuing to get boosters or continuing to get at least one first set of vaccines?
Oh.
And that's the real question. That's I'm mainly focused on is like getting the first set of vaccines.
You want to know? I feel bad because I wanted to root for Johnson, the one shot and done.
Oh, yeah.
But the negative reviews they got, I was like, oh shit. So I want to say yes. But for some reason, for them to say we have to get 2 shots in general for it to be considered a one shot, a full one shot. I mean, I'm here for that because if I can do it with the flu with just one shot, and I haven't got the flu shot in maybe over 4 years,
Okay.
and I haven't got the flu, like I've been fine.
And
So
you feel you've not gotten the flu because you've got a flu shot 4 years ago?
I feel like yeah, and then I just kept my immune system up because I've gotten the flu before, and that's what made me get the flu shot. And then after that, though, I feel like just my immune system just got it built up You know, I haven't gotten sick. People get colds, of course, but like, you know how you feel when you get the flu. So, I
Hmm.
mean, that I remember, I only got the flu one time in my life.
So you got the vaccine? Which ones did you get?
So I got Moderna.
Hmm.
I only got one shot.
You only have one shot.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to get the second one on Friday. I got back from my flight late from doing a show in Chicago.
Oh.
It's what it is. I'm gonna take it this Friday coming up. Do I want to get it? No.
Why don't you want to get it?
I don't like that it's like they don't know for sure if you're going to get sick or not on the second shot. Some people say you don't, you do. Like the not having the security of knowing is bothering a lot of people.
Hmm. Would you rather be a little bit sick from the shot or heavily sick from COVID?
The shot.
The shot?
Because they say corona has long lasting effects.
But is that a false dichotomy? Are those the main two options, or is there some other option? It's just not getting the shot and not getting COVID, getting the shot and getting COVID, or or getting the shot and not getting COVID. There's various options here.
Right.
But what is the riskiest option? Not getting the shot and getting COVID? Do you want to avoid that option?
That's the one I want to avoid the most.
That's the one. Yeah. So is taking the shot worth avoiding that option?
Yeah, I think so because everybody's immune system is not great. So everybody's not going to be able to fight it off as the results has been the cases of death that we've seen. More deaths has been happening from corona, from the flu. So, I mean, for me, it's just sad because this is the third year now that we're in corona?
Corona, March 29, 2020, basically.
Oh, 2 years.
It's going on a year and a half, I think.
Oh, 2020, not 19. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well.
Yeah, March next year will be 2 years, yeah. So you're feeling you'll get the shot and you'll feel you'll be safe, but you're skeptical about continuing to get booster shots?
Yes.
Why are you skeptical about getting booster shots?
Because I just feel like it's new. They're still creating new things. I don't think that the things have been set in stone. Like, I feel like, how they say they make diseases and they've been working on it for years, but I don't think they worked on the vaccines for years. I think they're just now like in motion trying to figure it out.
Who makes diseases?
Well, not who makes it, but how to cure them. I think they know who's making them.
Are you saying COVID was a man-made
Yes.
disease?
I think they made it to depopulate America.
Someone wanted to kill a lot of people to
Yes.
lessen the amount of people in the U.S. the world?
Yes, and I don't want to say it was targeted to certain races, but it looks like that it was.
Are you saying it's a racist conspiracy to kill black people or more like people of color?
Well, I just hear stories and I've seen that they say it's targeting more people of color. I don't know. I just don't want to say it myself. I don't want to believe it myself because I see it, but yeah.
What's your confidence that it is a kind of conspiracy if all the way to the right is absolutely yes, it's a conspiracy, or not sure, or absolutely no? And is conspiracy a fair way to characterize that? Just a malevolent plan?
Wow. Put me on the spotlight there. I don't really have a plan for me. I'm just trying to be safe as possible because we don't know. I just don't know. We don't have secure answers from anyone yet. Everyone else is saying something different. There's no way that when I went in the room to get this shot, the healthcare worker is telling me, well, I think we might get our boosters. I don't know. Like, why don't you know these things? Why are they only telling y'all little by little about what is going on? When people is in hospital, crying their life out, about to die because they're scared, and you can't even tell them. I mean, you don't want to tell them because you know, but it's probably in a contract for y'all to sign. That we'll kill you if you tell them what's going on in the government right now.
Whoa.
Because he's trying to depopulate us and kill us. Not just black people. I just think it's everyone in the world.
Wow.
But
Okay. Well, I'll try to be here on Sundays. Do you come to work often?
I come every Sunday.
Oh, well.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that'd be
when
great.
I don't have a gig.
When you don't get
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
are you a musician? What do you
Professional dancer.
Oh, dancer. Nice.
Mhm. I mean, I sing a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, feel free to take a little puzzle piece and come back and get in if you want to do another conversation. Any color you want.
Let me do red because I'm feeling hot today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate the conversation.
I appreciate you. What's your name?
Reed.
Reed. And where can I look at this?
I have a card here. You can check it out on YouTube later or Twitch or.
Well, I'm looking forward to hear. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Later.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, you were listening over there?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Thank you. See you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Sure. Damn it. The 360 ran out of battery. I gotta recharge it. Am I still here? Oh, Joe left. Oh, he had to step away for half an hour or so. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, is it fair to expect nurses know what the federal policy is? No, talking about a dog. Yeah, me too. Let me clean that headphone. Do I hear something? Hello.
How you doing?
Good. Just doing some interviews if you're interested.
button?
The button?
Oh, it's not a button. It's a magnet. Oh no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. They do look like little buttons. The magnets. StreamYard collates, puts all of the chats from all of the services here together, so I can see everything. See the little Twitch logo or the YouTube logo. It's nice like that. Yeah. Team YouTube. Yeah. Now planning. I used to use Twitch and then make highlight clips from the Twitch stream. That was nice, but nobody really watches those. So now I'm going to, when I'm done with the stream, I can come back home and sync the stream video. I can download the StreamYard recording and sync it with the high quality audio, and I can upload that, just one wide shot.
Yo, Reed.
Hey, hey.
We're about to go get some frappuccinos and iced coffees and stuff. Do you want one?
Yeah,
What do you want?
Frappuccino sounds good. Caramel?
Caramel?
Like a medium?
Might be a bit melty by the time I get back here.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's cool.
Cool.
But,
See you soon.
See ya, thanks. Hell yeah, Frappuccino. So yeah, I will upload a high quality, just one wide shot with the good audio, hopefully by tonight, maybe by tomorrow at the latest, if I have time. And I'll upload those to the YouTube channel as separate clips to my Cordial Curiosity Clips channel. Even though they're full conversations, they're clips of the longer live stream. And then eventually I'll make clips of like my past videos, with actual clips, when I get time. If anyone is watching who wants to do that for me, let me know. I have had a few return guests, yeah. Another guy named Chris. I chatted with like 4 times, I think. Perfect weather, 73. No, I have not. Just read those. Yeah, or run away. Oh yeah, I wanted to check Instagram. Do looks really matter? Vaccine / ivermectin stuff? Yeah, I covered that. Will Roosh, love Will Roosh, recommended that. Thanks, Will. Should I make that an explicit question? Is ivermectin a good treatment or prophylaxis? What's the word? Prophylactic for COVID? Essay myself right now. All right. I'm at 3% on the GoPro, but it's charging now. See how that goes. Yeah, I gotta make sure it's really plugged in. I'll put this banner on for a minute for Nathan, abstract activist. He really wants to get this message out. Hey, you're back.
Got a special request.
Sure.
I know you don't normally cross-examine people's beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to do that for me?
To cross-examine, to have you question me?
Be as aggressive as you like.
Be as aggressive as I want?
Yeah. Just because I don't so much want to just share. I want to get something out of it.
I can try. We'll see. Yeah, I can try that.
Have you had some people?
I have, yeah. Had some good conversations. Talked about the vaccine. Talked about NFL lying to its players about the risk of brain damage. That was interesting.
Were those your suggestions? Were they what people wanted to talk about?
I have the topics over there on the board. Yeah, is the vaccine worth taking? Are any mainstream institutions lying about anything, like deliberately lying?
So I acquired a belief a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
A belief in the making still, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Want to wear headphones?
Okay.
Check, check, hello. There we go. Just try to speak as close as you can so you can hear yourself. So what did you hear a few years ago or something?
Yeah, well, I began to acquire a belief.
And it was her home, basically. No, shut up. It's like Devan, face after that. She put a full filter on her face. On the pictures you took. Oh, they can look bad. No, it still looks great.
That there is a concept of truth that we can all rationally pursue. That if a rational method is properly applied, we would all converge on the same set of beliefs.
There's a concept of truth that if we went by that concept, that definition of truth, we would more reliably, rationally converge on what is true.
No, the concept. I'm referencing a concept that exists out in the world of truth
Mm-hmm.
that can be pursued rationally. So as anyone who pursues it rationally would converge on the same set of beliefs about the world.
Mm.
That concept, I've lost confidence that it's like evolutionarily feasible. Like I think it's an evolutionary dead end for our species.
Oh, this might be like the classic definition of truth, like the scientific consilience idea of truth.
Yeah.
That if we pursued that, you're saying it's an evolutionary dead end, it's a dangerous thing?
Yeah, I mean it's also a dangerous thing when applied as by theocracies, primarily due to the advent of weapons of mass destruction. So is that a pretty clear statement, or?
I think so. The classic way we think about truth and pursuing it is dangerous in our current times.
I think it's an evolutionary dead end for our species. I mean, not necessarily within decades.
How much time do we have if we're continuing on this project?
I couldn't really say, but it's not looking good pretty like right now.
What is like the plausible scenario in your mind that would happen?
Nuclear warfare.
From like who would be at war?
I don't know, those are details that don't really interest me.
Okay. It's just, how does nuclear warfare relate to pursuing truth in this way? How does pursuing truth in that way cause that to happen?
Well, we've been pursuing truth for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been relying on the evolution of culture has pretty much been dictated by the outcomes of warfare between peoples, right?
The evolution of culture has been dictated by the outcomes of war?
Yeah, certain peoples prevail over other peoples, like throughout history, right?
Yeah.
So I don't see how that same evolutionary mechanism can project into the future. Like how, given the advent of weapons of mass destruction.
Does the entire evolution of culture completely rely on war to evolve, or is there other ways culture can evolve without war directly influencing it?
Well, it's not entirely warfare, but that has historically been a huge factor.
What's the best example of war in making culture evolve?
Well, I mean, people have been annihilating people for hundreds, thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cultures die out, languages die out. And there are other factors, but
And you want me to not behave in an SE way, but like to challenge you more, I don't know what the word is, just more, I don't know what to say. You just want me to be more hard, more,
well, I mean,
more dogmatic?
do you think, can you come up with some reasons why like that wouldn't be the case?
The concept of cultural evolution for me relates to a book I've read called The Secret of Our Success.
I've read that.
Oh, nice. And
Joseph Henrich.
Henrich. And yeah, I think war is part of that. You know, tribes subsuming other tribes, but it's also kind of a cooperation thing, and a people just copying whatever's prestigious, and that can, some type of meme can cross over into other tribes, and that just propagates through time, and depending on where you are, that can then go into your genetic evolution, and there's like a gene culture co-evolution happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my newly acquired, well, not newly, but for a few years now, acquired belief that that aspect of cultures that believe in we can rationalize our way toward a common truth is finished.
Yeah, would this apply to weird cultures, the Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic cultures?
Certainly that is within, the weird framework.
Yeah, and I think this essay is part of the weird culture. It's very weird in maybe both senses. But yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that book as well, The Weirdest People in the World.
Oh yeah, I've yet to read that one. I want to though.
Yeah, I love his work. I think he has some very powerful and useful insights.
Mm-hmm. So is SE propagating this danger into the future, or is SE not doing that? Is that something that's helping or not helping?
I wouldn't accuse SE of propagating anything.
Okay. It seems like it's part of a way to try to get to that classical conception of truth with SE. Maybe.
Yeah, and I think the concept of truth still has some utility in the world. I'm just saying, like, ultimately, I don't think it's a feasible means of organizing human activity, as it historically has been.
Using that concept of truth is not a feasible way to organize human activity?
Yeah, rallying around a common truth has historically been how people collaborate in large, at scale. So I don't. I mean, I'm not 100%, but like, I'm getting to like 80% sure that weird people aren't going to make it.
Okay.
I mean, not within their current manifestation.
What kind of people would make it?
Well, that's what I like to think about. I don't have a very solid answer for you, but
Any guesses at parts of it?
yeah. My mind has been going a lot towards the financial organization of people, just because of how powerful money is among weird people and throughout the world. Like neoliberalism, it's definitely a dead end with respect to like cooperation among people.
Neoliberalism as in like free market type things,
Yeah,
systems.
yeah, freedom unconstrained by any religious ideals of any sort. Just individuals pursuing power. That's what we see in our neoliberal marketplace.
They're pursuing power, not self-interest. Is there other things
Well,
different?
I mean, power loosely is,
Mhm.
the power to, maybe just the power to do well,
Mm-hmm. So, in the future, in order to avoid this evolutionary dead end, we need a new financial system?
It seems to me like the method in which human activities are currently financed is one that results in warfare, ecological deterioration, disruptive technologies that threaten the welfare of most people.
Okay. Like,
Are you familiar with Yuval Harari's work?
I haven't read all of *Sapiens*, but that's what I'm trying to read at some point. Yeah.
I'm on board with his analysis. The big three dangers, existential dangers to humankind: nuclear proliferation, climate change, and disruptive technology.
Okay.
These things are all results of how we finance our activities. So it seems reorganizing the way we finance our activities is the only hopeful solution, right?
Okay. And the core problem here is this conception of truth, or is that now tangentially related?
It's tangentially related.
What is the best way to conceptualize truth? Or is that not a good question to talk about right now?
Well, I think it's just a belief like any other. I mean, like I'm not against the exercise of power, like rationality. I think it's very empowering, and like the rationality of mathematics, it's incredible. But I think it's less important than the rationality of languages that allow us to do religion and cooperate on a massive scale.
Yeah, I'm hearing what concepts of truth and power and language. How do these things relate in your mind? And like language is kind of related to religion as well a little bit.
Well, you need language in order to do religion, don't you? So that's all I was saying there. You can't do religion with mathematics, can you?
I doubt it. Yeah.
You're not pushing back.
Well, okay. Let me. I don't. What am I gonna put? It's different from my usual style. What pushing back?
I mean, you don't agree with me, do you?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Are you saying truth is equivalent to power or different? Or knowledge is equivalent to power?
Well, I mean, we've evolved to pursue power, and we use the concept of truth in order to do so.
Is power all that we've evolved, or the main thing that we've evolved to do?
Well,
I'm still asking questions.
very
I'll make claims now. I'll say power is not the only thing that we've evolved to do.
okay.
We've also evolved to, be a hypersocial species that we,
Right, but that's collective power, right? We've evolved cultures that allow us to exercise power on the collective level.
yeah. What is power? The means of getting things what you want.
Yeah, so survival and putting your genes into the future.
Yeah.
Which is generally, not always, but generally what people want to do.
Yeah. If not consciously, but some consciously wanting to perpetuate your genetic code into the future. A lot of activity is organized around that, or caused by that process. Natural and sexual selection made us that way. But still, what's a claim we're talking about? The relationship between truth and power.
The viability of truth moving forward, given the advent of technological disruption that's threatening the welfare of human beings.
So humanity should rely less on truth in the future.
I'm not saying they should. I'm saying
If we want to avoid.
I'm saying
an
they
evolutionary
will
dead end.
if they want to be around.
Yeah, humans should.
I'm just saying that it's likely that they will, or maybe we won't be around at all. But I think it's a possibility. I mean, I don't see, I empathize with people who see there's a lot of useless sophistry among people who speak about postmodernism. That I mean, there's a lot of that disgusts me as much as the next rationalist. But there's also something to it.
Mm-hmm. What is that thing that's to it?
That the truths that are currently uniting us are no longer sufficient.
The truths that are uniting us, like a kind of meta-narrative?
Yeah, I mean the truths that unite liberalism, broadly speaking, it's failing us much in the same way as belief in God has been failing us, failing to unite us under a single banner.
What are some of those claims that liberalism, the meta-narrative of liberalism that is failing us? What are some of those examples?
That everyone is a free-willing individual in possession of something like a soul, entitled to rights, and that whole narrative, it doesn't jive with what we're learning in biology and
all men are created equal with certain unalienable rights.
I mean that came from God-fearing people.
Yeah, endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights.
Yeah, and then substituting with natural rights, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, natural rights is just as superstitious as God-given rights.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate with me. No.
So if rights are off the table, are rights off the table? That's a Yuval Harari type thing. It's a kind of story a myth that we just use to organize our societies. And yeah, it's something that unites us as a nation or tribe.
Yeah, it's not that I find it unappealing entirely. It's the culture that I was born into. I just see it as problematic. I don't want to like just throw it out and have nothing in its place, because that would be problematic as well.
So if it's false that all men are created equal, that there's no reason to believe that, now where do we go?
Well, we need political structure, regardless of whether all men are created equal, that facilitates massive collaboration between all men and women.
Mm-hmm.
So,
do we just write down a principle on a piece of paper and say, if you want to be around us, you have to believe that?
constitutions work. I see no reason why constitutions can't work independent of belief in truth or God. Social contracts. Good ones, well-constituted social contracts will inspire people. People will. I don't see any reason why they can't unite under a well-written social contract.
Cool.
So.
Have you read The Narrow Corridor?
No, what's that?
Darren Asimoglu, by the writers of the book Why Nations Fail. They talk about liberty as being inside a narrow corridor. It's the balance between the power of state and the power of society. So if we're talking about power, liberty lies in the balance between these two things. That's kind of the core of my political philosophy at the moment.
Society. Liberal society. Weird people.
Not necessarily weird people. I think they would claim people in the narrow corridor that have the most liberty are currently the weird societies, but it doesn't the power of society can be not good. There can be too much power over there. They call it the cage of norms, the set of norms and values that certain societies have don't allow for the increase of capacity for a state. They're like a lot of honor culture, a lot of stuff like that prevents institutions from happening and being created and having any kind of legitimacy towards them if the norms aren't there, if the society is not there.
Right. That was broken by the Catholic Church and other monotheistic hegemonies.
Yeah. So that's a claim I would make. I would claim everyone wants liberty, and the way to get to liberty is to balance the power between state and society. And liberty is not going to lead to an evolutionary dead end. Maybe I would make that claim.
So, do we have society in the absence of a state? Like, doesn't the state make our society? I'm not sure I understand that dichotomy.
The state is the institutions, the laws, and the government, the courts, the bureaucracy of managing conflict in an ordered way. That's the state, with like its police and military. And society is the people within a certain area that have certain norms and values.
So society is very plural.
Yeah.
So it's not really one thing.
Yeah, it's just the people and what they believe and value.
So, in the face of that plurality, the state will dominate, right?
Unless the state is given power in a way that protects minority rights, back to rights, if it allows for pluralism and freedom of speech and all of this other conflict resolution systems of liberalism.
And the people, the administrators of the state must also believe in the precepts of liberalism.
Well, yeah, potentially. Although some, and they call these different organizations of state and society leviathans from Hobbes. A shackled leviathan is what you get when you're in the corridor. A despotic leviathan is if the state has too much power, and a absent leviathan is what's happening when there's no state. It's all society's power. So maybe if you're in a despotic leviathan, you're not following the principles of liberalism, so there could be states without liberal principles, maybe like China.
I think the Chinese social credit system is a fascinating phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
It could be contrasted against a neoliberal anti-social credit system. I think there are probably strengths and weaknesses to both.
The neoliberal anti-social credit system? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I would what I mean by that is that weird people generally honor currencies that aren't backed by pro-social principles. I mean, it's not so bad as like found objects in the world, like seashells or precious metals or Bitcoin. Those literally have no pro-social constitutional framework. They're just objects in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the case of fiat currency, like the USD, at least it's backed by a relatively pro-social constitution. I often wonder if we might see the rise of like a global credit union with an even more pro-social constitution that distributes credit in accordance with pro-social principles rather than profit by the bankers.
Yeah. Would that be more towards the China model?
No. I mean,
it would just have it would have better moral
I don't
principles.
think I don't think the Chinese leadership has a good pro-social constitution. They're just interested in maintaining hegemony. But I wonder if that's not like a possibility. Like, if some entrepreneur with some resources were to establish like a global credit union, in which like credit is reserved for social entrepreneurs as opposed to consumers and antisocial entrepreneurs. And if that was a successful system, it seems like people would flock to it in the absence of gainful employment in other systems, in the absence of states that provide welfare for their members.
Oh, hey, Jacob. How's it going?
Good. Good to be here.
Cool. This is Jacob. He's also from the meetup. Did you watch the stream last week?
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Was Jacob on it?
Yeah, he did a bunch of conversations.
I missed it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll go back.
So we talked a lot here about power and truth and politics and rights and all of this. This is fascinating to me. I think a lot of more people should be, thinking about these things. I think we are at risk of a lot of existential threats, and should we change our conception of various things like truth or rights or other things? I don't know. Good to talk about though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to hang out and talk with other people using SE, or did you want to just hang out and talk more about this?
I don't know that I would be a good SC facilitator.
How did you get into knowing about me, knowing about SE? What's the history?
I mostly just randomly run across you on YouTube. Maybe it was Meetup, I don't know. Yeah, I like what you do. It's a good survey of like psychological variation among people.
Yeah, part of my project is kind of just an anthropological, interesting thing to do. So I want to know who's out there, what they believe, what kind of people they are. It's interesting.
Do you subscribe to the idea that the reasons we give for what we believe are largely post hoc justifications of our emotional disposition?
Yeah.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Unless we're in a community which incentivizes disconfirmation in conversation, and it makes it, and you're more prestigious in that community if you're humble and you have a lot of epistemic humility, and that's the way you get status in that community, is by updating your beliefs according to evidence.
Right. But you do hold that SE helps people to maybe make their way to something like a truth?
I do. A lot of people's beliefs they've never thought about, and they can bring up concepts and just objects that are like subconscious that they've never thought about, and turn them into objects in their mind to really concretely think about, and rather than system 1 go into system 2. And that can put people on a journey of like, if they discover something is like not a good way to really think about something, or it's inconsistent with other ways of their reasoning, they may want to discard certain ways of knowing things, and that can apply to all their beliefs. So it's kind of a shortcut to upgrading the sanity water line in the culture in general.
Probably some therapeutic value in it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you coming by. And feel
My
free to hang
pleasure.
out, or you can just come back next week, maybe.
Okay, we'll hang out for a little while.
Sure. So, yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Nice to meet you. My name's Jacob. Yeah. Is this your first time making it out to one of these? Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, I ran into YouTube videos. It was really interesting sounding conversations, and kind of got hooked on watching them. And then last week was my first time coming out.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Great.
And I went to the north entrance.
Oh, no.
Off of the whatever freeway. I was like, this is great. It's like one exit away from my exit.
At the top of the mountain?
At the top of the
Okay.
And then I drove around past all of the houses with their Corvettes. And I'm like, there's no parking here. Did they take a horse?
There's no parking down here, too, either,
Yep.
so it takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta follow people on foot. Try to make it to a park.
Yeah, that's smart. They look like they're leaving. judge the size of the spot based on how big the group is. Like, oh, there's an SUV. These 4 people are getting into. I bet if I follow them.
You two sit down and chat, and I'm just gonna hang out.
Quinn's also here. You're on Discord. We went to get some coffee, some frappuccino. Okay. Have I met Quinn?
Dolly, come over here.
Dolly should be here soon. Staying tomorrow. It does at 3 o'clock. Oh yeah, that's the gentleman that I met last week. I tuned in like an hour ago, and it seemed like you were talking to a guy about vaccine stuff. Is the vaccine we're taking? Oh yeah, because you've got it on the whiteboard over here. Are the worst consequences of COVID behind us? Or it's true that most people's stigmatize as false? There's about conspiracy theories about stigmatized truth. That's a phrase they use. Try to get that conspiracies. So other mainstream institutions are really lying about that. You don't have to be a maybe soon. Maybe this one. This one's a little rough.
Does this help?
Let's see. Sun's like right over there. It's probably going to be good for a while.
Position.
I wore a hat today. Lesson learned. So you just found like YouTube videos about this? Is that how you got into it?
I think so. Don't recall exactly.
Okay.
I've been aware of street epistemology for a couple of years now. Where did you get introduced to
I'm
it?
gonna put these on. That's... Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's weird. I first found Anthony Magnabosco's YouTube channel probably from following other like secular conversation YouTube channels and popped up. But I was really into this when I was in my faith transition away from Mormonism. When I was a student at Brigham Young University, really like immersed in the Mormon culture and looking for an outlet for my critical ideas about faith and things like that. And I thought I was like the only one in the world that thought that faith might be a bad idea for how to, you know, living in Utah, you might feel that way. So,
When did you move from Utah?
I moved to LA 2015, so 6 years ago.
So you're interested in what aspect of street epistemology? It's like from like an anthropological perspective, or are you interested in what aspect of the practice interests you the most?
Yeah, that's a good question because there's probably a lot of different reasons that you could get into this or feel like it's worth exploring.
Yeah.
Um, the anthropological perspective, which, just to see if we agree on the definition, would mean like just a general interest in what people believe and where the kind of general level, the water level, like Reed was describing, of sanity or critical thinking. I do have an interest in that and seeing if this is a good way of surveying it or moving it or just being exposed to different people's beliefs. But selfishly, though, I feel like SC and doing SC is a great way of refining your own kind of instinct for those informal logical fallacies that you keep on finding people that they have.
That, that's not intuitive to me. Like, how would it help you inform your own certainly it would influence the way you think about um, how beliefs are held in others. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to sort of see my own reflection in people as I talk about their beliefs. Probably really influenced by my background being like faithful, but I feel like every level deeper of SC that I kind of dig into, I realize that I'm digging into further of my own um, like fallacious reasons for holding my beliefs. And maybe instead of like digging deeper, the analogy would be like peering higher over a fence. And then in every step I take up, I realize, I'm actually employing the same fallacy in my own reasoning. I'm kind of like tapping into that.
How would you know a good reason from a bad reason for believing something?
Awesome. I've always wanted to like participate in something like this.
Do you want to put a pin in that and see if we, would you like to street epistemologize?
Maybe. I can. I'll be off second.
It's not a bad time. Do you want to sit down? Do
Huh?
you want to sit down right now?
I can't right now. We gotta go do the mountains, but when I come back, I'm gonna try to make time.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cute dogs. We should have like a dog cam. Oh, there you go. So, your last question, do you remember what your last question was?
How do you tell the difference between a good reason and a bad reason for believing something?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I keep on like thinking, what I thought was a good reason might be a bad reason. Maybe eventually I won't believe anything.
It's pretty arbitrary, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess the premise of SC is that at some level it's not arbitrary. There are bad reasons, or at least worse and better reasons for holding beliefs.
And to what end?
Okay, so good question. So do you mean what's the point of deciding what are good reasons and bad reasons for holding a belief?
Well, I think we have to qualify good and bad. To what end is it good? To what end is it bad?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just a little bit too abstract.
Yeah. Right, this isn't just some like brain exercise that has no other merit besides it's a fun puzzle. Like there are definitely implications. I feel like in general I want to believe true things. That's like a value that I hold.
Yeah, you want to believe true things. I want to believe empowering things. I want to believe things that get me closer to my goals.
So when you say empowering, could you define that?
Useful to attaining my interests. I think my primary interest is attempting to anticipate or organized. So I'm interested in beliefs that provide useful stories that get me to that end. so dangerous before. Before we had technology that allows us to murder people in huge numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another like hypothetical question that I'm not trying to like paint you into a corner or entrap you at all. It's just sort of like sometimes hypothetical questions are sort of like shortcuts to helping me understand what you believe. So just so I'm following so far, because there's really not only are there unreliable ways of finding truth, and that leads to like subjectivity, everybody having their own truth, disagreeing, and then causing conflict. But there's also this sort of better aim, which is to find things that empower you, not a search for absolute truth.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a better aim unless you're oriented by a good end, right?
Okay.
I mean, plenty of people pursue ends that can't be regarded as pro-social or good in any interpretation.
So, are we running into a problem then where we have wanted to avoid the issues of like arriving at so-called absolute truth by instead choosing things that empower us to reach our aims? But do we also have that same problem with the definition of what is a good aim to be empowered towards?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's an intractable problem, I think.
Because people are going to probably try to use some of the same methods to decide which are the best aims, as they would have decided which were the truest claims or truths, you know?
Yeah.
So do you think it's better for people to decide to aim for what is true, or to aim for what empowers them, in light of the fact that you'll probably be using similar methods for both?
Historically, I think it was better that people aim for the truth. I'm just coming to the conclusion that it's no longer the case.
Because of, you were talking about weapons of war before.
Technology, disruptive technology, has the power to put an end to our species. So evolutionarily speaking, I don't think the concept of truth has a future. I could be wrong.
There'd be no way of knowing.
Right, we're not going to settle that.
Yeah.
We're not going to settle that. But yeah, and that's what compels a lot of my thought. That's what orients me. So.
Okay, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. So taking off my street epistemology hat, I think that a lot of my motivations are informed by having a very kind of like authoritarian, absolutist view drilled into me as a mainstream fundamentalist Mormon. And it was very black and white before, like this wrong and right. What the prophet said is always right, given the fact that God would never allow them to say something wrong. So if they said it, it must be right. And when I lost my faith in the prophets, I think I've retained that spirit of absolutism and like, you know, let us declare the truth once we know it, you know?
Yeah. It's have you had any very powerful religious experiences?
Yeah, definitely.
From a very young age?
Probably more so as an adult.
since your conversion or before?
So, what do you mean?
Were you within the church when you had these experiences?
Yeah.
Do you think you could have them now that you're not a believer?
I have, yeah. I do think I could, and I have.
So they're a part of your biology. Yeah?
I believe so, yeah. That's my understanding.
Yeah, I think religious emotions are probably critical to the organization of massive collaborations between people.
I think it's neat. I mean, I know that he's just getting into it, and like.
There's so many places I could go right now. But,
Yeah. What interests you the most? Were you raised with like a religious upbringing?
No. My parents are atheists. No, currently, I'm reading William James's Varieties of Religious Experience. Have you come across that? Or?
No, I'm not familiar.
He's a scientist and philosopher, a founding member of the School of Pragmatism, which is it's an orientation toward practical philosophy. So you're pretty good at this. Have you been interviewing a few people?
Yeah, I kind of started like trying to employ this with my friends and family since I discovered it on YouTube. And, you know, this is like, you know, bleeding in irony to say this, but I see a lot of parallels between this type of discussion and the way that I used to communicate with a Mormon missionary.
Sure. Well, you don't want to turn people off. The art of persuasion. It's consistent across all.
Yeah. I think it was more just the understanding, from my perspective then, the goal was conversion, and I came to believe that people really didn't have an interest in talking about your beliefs. They wanted to talk about their own, but often in talking about their beliefs, it was a good segue into, you know, my religion. And often by like exploring just the way people have interacted with spirituality, you can sort of choose which door is the easiest to open for them into converting them to my own ideas.
Yeah, it's not a conversation. It's just a mutual exchange. You're not going to get as much out of it if it's one way.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to hear some other people.
Yeah. Thank you for kind of like co-interviewing me here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I've never seen like such a mutualistic street epistemology conversation. Good back and forth.
Yeah.
Remind me your name again, I'm so sorry.
Chris.
Chris, okay.
And actually, I'm blanked on yours as well.
Jacob. It'll take like 3 tries. Okay.
Have a seat.
Hey, man. Nice to meet you. I'm Quinn, fellow street epistemologist.
Okay, yeah, I've heard your name around.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I just heard yours. You're new to it, right?
Yeah, this is my second time appearing in person.
Welcome to the Cool Kids Club.
I think so. It feels that way.
Sit down here.
Have you gotten it's hard not to talk about it.
Hello, hello.
We did. So that was a part of the
Hey there.
Can you explain?
What's that?
Can you explain how this
Oh,
works?
yeah, sure. So, did you see any of the belief things out there?
Mm-hmm.
The topics? You can choose one of those or just your own topic.
Yeah.
You could say literally anything that you'd like, and then we'll just talk about essentially why you believe that thing.
Mm.
Takes about 5 minutes or longer if you'd like. Yeah. Again, it doesn't have to be one of those, but if one of them interests you, then
Do I have to choose like a specific one?
that helps. Yeah, and like your stance on it. Again, doesn't have to be one of those. Could be your own thing.
I know, right.
Okay. Well, once again, I don't consider myself an expert, so I don't want to say anything that's stupid, but
That's cool. Me
I'll
neither.
say what I think.
Awesome.
Oh, wait. Okay, here we go.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Cool, cool. What's your name?
Phoebe.
Phoebe. Good to meet you.
Nice
Love that
to
name.
meet you. Thanks.
Did anything come to mind to talk about?
The question about like mainstream institutions that you think are lying to you.
You know, I actually didn't see any of them. What was it?
It was like, what mainstream institutions do you think are lying to you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like it's just common knowledge about like the medicinal industry,
Ooh, okay,
you know,
yeah.
and healthcare and everything. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of things in the past that I don't agree with, like, you know, just encouraging cigarette smoking in the past, or like the opioid epidemic, and like.
Oh, that was like way back in the 60s or 50s, right? Like they'd
Yeah.
send cigarettes to people's houses or something, right? Like,
Yeah, like, I don't know. It makes me question it and like not have all the trust and like the best interest in mind, because I do know how much money is made off of it, which is why I feel like uncomfortable when I have to follow advice from them.
From who?
From like the FDA and stuff.
Okay.
Just because it's like, if doctors were telling us that cigarettes were good for us in the past and they were wrong about that, what if they're wrong about things currently that we're going to find out in the future that we
Right.
shouldn't have been doing?
Okay. So, that's interesting. So, okay, at one point, and I don't know if this is true, are you saying that the FDA at one point was encouraging smoking cigarettes?
No, that's why I said I'm not an expert.
Okay.
I don't think the
Yeah, me neither.
FDA was. I was talking about more of like the healthcare industry.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's why I just like kind of question it
Right.
a little bit.
Well, now that it seems like the paradigm has changed on that subject, like now it seems like, what's the main company that's against cigarettes? I don't know, anti-tobacco. I forgot the name of it, but
I don't
there's
know.
a particular corporation that's very against it, and it seems like the healthcare industry at large sort of condemns cigarette smoking, right? At this moment.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were more right in the past to encourage it, or they're more right now to condemn it, and why?
Well, I was thinking.
Or do you not know?
I mean, I was thinking condemning because of all the negative effects it has on our body.
Okay.
You know.
And why do you? So, the reason why you think that has nothing to do with because the healthcare industry right now is pushing it. It has more to do with how you understand the science of cigarettes and tobacco, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the way that it affects our lungs and everything. Like, my friend that I'm with now, she has started smoking cigarettes because she got sober. So this has been her way to kind of transition and cope. And just like doing this hike, I've never seen her that out of breath, and her health has deteriorated so bad from all the cigarette smoking, and just seeing the effects that it has on her like firsthand. Yeah. It's just really not good for your body.
Right. Interesting. So the original claim was interesting. It was like you have a don't let me put words in your mouth. You have a strong distrust for like the medical community, or
I like the corporation side of it. Like, you know, they make money off our sickness, and it's like I feel like there can be a lot of other methods to help sicknesses and things like that before we resort to, you know, medication, vaccines, which I know they can be helpful, and I know people need it, and I'm not saying it's bad, but I do think we should also explore other healthier alternative methods before we resort to that, you know?
Like what?
Like, you know, just all the holistic things that they've explored, and like getting to the root of the cause. Like if someone has depression, like my mother had chronic depression, and instead of giving her antidepressants that made her turn suicidal, we could have explored into what has changed in your life, what is the root cause of it, you know, try and explore that route before just
jumping
here's a pill,
Band-Aid
over it. It's not fixing anything. You're still gonna have the same problems, you're just gonna be numb, and that's not making it any better.
So you think maybe the way that the corporate side of the medical institution, and here in the US at least, it often doesn't get to the root of the problem. Maybe it's just putting a Band-Aid over something. Okay.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of like a quick fix, and a lot of people nowadays don't want to put in the effort to really make the change, and just resort to taking a medication to make them feel better without actually changing anything.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I don't want to be offensive.
No,
I know, I understand that there are, you know, disorders and things that people really do need it to stabilize their behaviors and moods.
Right.
But for the other majority that don't suffer with those disabilities and things, I feel like there could be other methods.
Well, like let's just take depression, because you brought it up. I'm curious. What do you think the best way to approach it is from the beginning, I guess? Like, what is this holistic approach that gets to the root cause?
Well, for depression, I feel like that is very mental. So it's like, instead of just going to a doctor, telling them your symptoms and having them prescribe you to a medication, have them talk to a specialist about the specific thing they're struggling with, I guess.
Right.
That can help them.
It's like therapy.
Yeah, like therapy methods, or I don't know. There's a lot of other, I don't know the word, but I feel like there's a lot of alternate ways to deal with the things that people struggle with, other than
psychiatrics and stuff. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like that could be a lot healthier in the long run.
Okay. This is a weird question, but on a scale of 0 to 100, how confident would you say you are in this claim that like the medical industry isn't doing the best job that it could be, and that instead we should take this alternative approach to treating people? Like, how confident are you?
I see.
Sorry, I've been cued here. So there's this scale. 0% confident, meaning like not at all confident, and this is like closed-mindedly sure, 100%. So where would you be? Maybe show the camera wherever it's at.
See, I don't agree like totally closed-minded because I do believe there are good doctors and people that have good intentions
Okay,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So what is that, 60%?
That's about 60. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say 60.
60%.
Like I feel like there's a lot of benefits that we've had from it and we've come so far,
Yeah.
and I just feel like there's also a lot more room for improvement as well.
Mm.
And I feel like, I don't know, just like the mental health of our country right now is so bad. Like,
Yeah,
it
okay.
really concerns me.
I'm curious, is it mostly a mental health issue, or is it physical as well, like cancer treatment or diabetes or physical illnesses?
Well,
You share a similar stance to
there
that.
are people that have explored like the book The Body Keeps the Score. Like your body will tell you when there's something off in your life, and your body has this intelligence like gut health. It's
Right.
another brain. It's like
Instinctual.
yeah, that you have to pay attention to, because if you're like having these symptoms, it usually means that there's something that you need to address that you haven't been
Addressing.
addressing in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it can relate to the physical body as well with cancer. I have seen stories of people that have had cancer and then they have gone to see holistic doctors that they go to retreats with, and they explore what's going on in their personal lives, and maybe it was an abusive husband that they were too scared to leave, and once they got out of that relationship, their body all of a sudden it was like
it healed.
it healed itself, because it was like all that anxiety and stress and constant fight or flight. Your nervous system can't function the way it's supposed to
Right.
because you're constantly living in that state, and your body just is attacking itself until you remove yourself from the environment.
Yeah, so it's like the mental and the physical are linked in that way.
I feel like everything is linked. It's not just separate brains, separate bodies, separate
Right.
outer life, like
And that's
everything.
kind of the basis of like a holistic approach, right, to medicine. It's like nothing should be dealt with specifically or
Like
incrementally.
separately, yeah.
Interesting.
I know, and once again, I'm not an expert. This is just from like what I've been interested in and what
Yeah.
I've read about, books I've read, documentaries I've seen, like, you know. So
Right.
I've like based my own opinions off of this. I could be totally wrong. I'm not claiming to know anything, but just based off of my understanding, that's what I believe.
No, that's respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you believe?
What do I believe?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'm pretty in line with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I might be like a little less. Actually, I'd probably be 60% too. The only thing is I have a lot of respect for Western medicine, and when we start talking about alternative medicine like acupuncture or like crystal healing or things like that, that's when I start to get a bit skeptical.
Yeah, I don't know much about that either.
Yeah, but those certain kinds of alternative medicines, I'm a bit skeptical about them, or like just certain natural remedies. I think something like penicillin is usually just a better, oftentimes the best way to heal something, or Tylenol or whatever, you know. But when it comes to mental health and what you were saying about like addressing root problems rather than psychiatric drugs and stuff, totally agree.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I have a lot of experience with, not myself, but with other people, and I totally agree. But a couple more questions on the 60%. What could you see that would get you higher on the scale? You know, like what can make you completely confident that what you're saying is true? 100%.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, is there what kind of world would we have to live in, or what kind of evidence would you have to see, or what kind of things would you have to experience in order to make this higher, to increase your confidence? Does that make sense?
In the medical industry, like trust them?
Yeah, like, okay, so I think your claim was something like we should take a more holistic approach or use alternative methods
Before resorting
to things like psychiatrics, or just Western medicine in general, like the way that our system is set up. And you said you're 60% confident in that claim, right?
Yeah.
What would make you more confident?
In
if
that
anything,
claim?
yeah.
I think I would have to see it with people that suffer from severe symptoms and mental disorders and stuff like that, because I don't have enough knowledge in that area where it's like people that have like my dad has antisocial personality disorder.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if there's any method that could help make that improve, even like alternatively or holistically. Like I feel like that extreme of a situation might need it.
Might need what?
Medication.
Okay.
So I can't.
Got you.
Like with him, it's like no matter what, I don't think any other alternative method would help with that.
Okay. And so you're saying seeing more cases like that where only this like sort of psychiatric approach towards healing is the only way that you can see that would increase your... Wait, I'm confused now.
No, I guess it's like I'm not confident 100% because I would need to see it tested on all sorts of different cases.
Got it.
You know?
Right. You just need to see it more in action on a bunch of different stuff. Okay, got you. And then lastly, what would make you less confident in your claim? Like what might bring that 60% down to like 20, you know?
Down to 20.
Yeah.
If they could prove it wrong, if they would try and find different methods where it's like there's this guy I read about, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Haven't heard of him. No.
And he really studies about healing the body with the mind. And he's done a lot of like experiments and retreats and stuff that have shown how people have healed their diseases. And like I think it was him who, or it was someone else. There's been a story about a man that was in an accident and he was in a wheelchair and he couldn't walk. I believe it was Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh,
and
he was the one in an accident?
I believe so.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And every day would focus on healing the body just with the mind. And he ended up being able to walk again, even though the chances were super slim.
What did he do?
Every day for 6 months. He was a doctor. He visualized the neural pathways, like healing and fusing together. And instead of not being able to gain functionality again after he was doing that for like 6 months, he was able to walk again. And then he took that. He was like, okay, if I'm able to do this, I want to see if it works in other people as well. And so he started running studies and like learning about all these things about how powerful the mind really was and how we really have control over the way that our body reacts to things. And if I saw, so like seeing that makes me believe in alternative methods and things like that, because it's like, how can that be a coincidence if it's worked for like...
So I think that would actually make your confidence higher, right?
It would. So I would like to see professional doctors prove it wrong.
Prove that
if
wrong.
they tried his methods,
Okay.
or like other methods like that, where like
maybe
that,
if someone examined his situation and said,
let's bring this to the mainstream.
Right, or because this guy, Doctor who?
Joe Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza, he claimed that he healed himself by like just picturing his neural pathways,
visualizing, neural pathways,
sort of just bringing it into reality, right? Like through his mind.
But like placebos, people that test it with like Tylenol, and then you believe that you're taking something that makes your body heal, so you feel better even though they give them nothing. Like our minds are so strong, but we just don't believe in it. So we don't end up seeing the results that we need. Like you literally have to believe it with your full body and mind, and that's what he did. So that's why he saw the results. So then that's why.
But it's interesting. It's like that's healing. To me, that sounds like he had a lot of confidence that he would heal, and that's about it, right? That's all he needed to heal.
Yeah, the belief that if he tried it every day, he could walk again, and then it happened.
Right.
So that was like, to me, that was like crazy.
Yeah.
I remember it was a documentary on Netflix called Heal.
Heal.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what first got me into researching about all this stuff. I was like, whoa.
That's interesting stuff. I could talk about it more, but I want to respect your time.
Thank you. My friends left me already. So.
Phoebe, good to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah. Can I give her one of these majiggers? So these are just like puzzle pieces that we give out, and the goal is to try to collect all 3 for yourself. If you want to take one, sorry, any color.
Wait, collect all 3? What do you mean?
So each conversation you get one, and then when you come back, you can get another one. And then once you complete it, it's like a challenge.
The blue one. Well, I'm moving to
Nice.
Miami, but you know,
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't need to take it if you want to save it.
maybe there's people in Miami who do this. There might
We'll
be.
see.
Yeah.
Just have something to remember the conversation about.
Yeah, that's another reason for it.
I like it. Sentimental.
Awesome. Thanks, Phoebe.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't sound like an idiot.
No, that was me. I'm the one who sounded like an idiot.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. I love having conversations like that. We need more of it.
Definitely. See you later.
Do you want to save the code box in the work?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the whole thing. Around my ears.
Your ear holes.
Guys, let me touch.
Wow, that was the first time I've done that in a while.
Oh yeah.
We're taking notes.
I love
It is.
When'd you get that?
Maybe 2 months ago. It's awesome. It's amazing. You can like get a wide angle, super fisheye. But,
Oh, okay.
But you can crop it. You can crop it here. You can move it this way.
Is it like limiting for you, or is it?
Hard drive space
Oh, okay.
is the only limiting factor.
I see. But angle-wise, it works out fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Anybody wants to sit down?
Oh, yeah.
There's no risk. We're not gonna try to embarrass anybody. You just sort of get to explain what you want to do one. So we've got some.
You guys do this.
I really appreciate it.
Not complete the fit. This is a YouTube channel called Cordial Curiosity.
How many subscribers do you guys have? Just by curiosity.
15,000.
Just by cordial curiosity. How much?
But people talk about
Are any mainstream?
They're right there.
That's big facts. Andy, you want to sit down or you just want to talk here? Yeah, how long is it? How long?
5 minutes usually.
You can set the timer.
It's on the timer. Let's go. Cover. Are any? I'm not allowed to I'm gonna count myself out.
Alright, let's do 1 minute and then you can get
fine.
started.
You guys ask me a question or I just say whatever I want?
We'll get conversating.
Alright.
You can put the headphones on if you want to.
Sure. Oggi ci sono Impulsive Podcast.
How was your hike up there? Did you guys
It was
make
like-
it to the top?
Yeah, we actually made it to the top. It was pretty fun.
Way to go.
Had a lot of fun on the way up. How about you guys?
I'm in flip-flops today. Obviously
that's cool.
not very ambitious choice of footwear, but I might try to see if I can like get a good view before I go.
I like your hat, by the way. It's very retro looking.
Thank you. It's a good description. Foxy Grandpa. What was your name, by the way?
Jakey. My boys call me Jakey Jr.
Oh, really? I go by Jakey.
Nice. Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, not Junior, just Jakey or Jake.
Alright.
So, yeah, we talk about anything that you believe in. I mean, people talk about God and karma, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But vaccines are a very hot topic right now. Maybe mainstream media is lying about something. It's really your say. What do you believe in?
I believe in God,
Okay.
which means I wanted to do the topic on the one that says
What is the
The-
truth
the-
that most people
Yeah. So I wanted to say that there's no such thing as coincidence. People may
Okay.
believe that coincidence exists, but I believe everything happens for a reason, and everything happens for the end goal. That means every piece of the puzzle is just to get to the end part.
Mhm.
And like your whole life is just everything that happens to you is just little pawns that are just moving towards the end of your life where you have your goal. Everything is set up already for you.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like it's predetermined, like
Yeah.
there's a plan.
It is predetermined, but you can change it. That means if you pray to God and you know what you want, you could change anything. Like anything's possible, you know?
Okay. So would you say that this belief in, we could call it like predestination, is it pretty wrapped up with your belief in God? Are they sort of hand in hand? Like is God making the plan?
Yes. God is making the plan, but you also play a big role in what happens in your life. That means God is not just gonna give you everything on a silver platter. You have to actually like, you have to do your, in Hebrew we call it your ishtadlut, which means you have to do your part in it. If you want things to work out, you can't just sit back and pray to God so that everything works out. You have to try and do something yourself, and God will, you open the door and God will get you through.
Okay. So I think that talking about this idea of like predestination, it's so wrapped up with your belief in God. They're sort of like, you know, left foot, right foot. It might be more useful just to go ahead and talk about God and how you arrived at your belief in God. So the question is, why do you believe in God as opposed to, you know, believing in a different God, no God at all, something else entirely? What brought you to this belief?
Well, that's a great question, sir. I think that the world today is so perfect that, like, I don't see how it's possible for a man or someone, or for it to be created on itself. Everything has a creator. Like, this table was created by someone, and I think that a world that's so perfect and so precise, everything has a purpose. Even bees, like, without bees in the world we wouldn't be able to live, because they take the pollen and they give like air for everyone and the trees and stuff. So I think it's so perfect that it's impossible for it to have been created on its own. Someone had to be the one to create it. That's what I think.
Okay. So my understanding of what you said is, first of all, we observe that the world exists.
Yeah.
It got here somehow, so we need an explanation, right?
Facts.
Not only is it here, it's also a very good world. We can live in it, we breathe this air, we can drink the water, we can stand out in the sun, it feels nice. The shade also feels kind of nice. So because everything is sort of built for us in a way, and the fact that it got here in the first place, you look for an explanation, and then God is what you would say is your explanation for that.
Well, not only that. I mean, if you go into any scientific book or anything that scientists say, like how the world was created, it all starts from the point that life exists already. Like the theory of evolution, it's from the point that life exists, and then this goes to this, and then little animals, and then amphibians in the water, and then it goes to little mammals, and then dinosaurs, and whatever, human, and then apes, and then monkeys and humans. But it all starts from the point where there's life, but they never talk about how that life started, where it came from. So that's why I think they're the mistaken. They don't really like look at that part. They just start talking from the point that life exists already. So that's why I think they don't really want to go into there, because they don't really know. And that's where I think God comes in.
Okay, so God kind of fills in that gap for you, whereas science doesn't know this thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, God could be the answer of this explanation.
Absolutely.
So in general, it sounds like God explains a lot of things for you. How the world got here, why it's so perfect for humans.
Exactly.
How life started in the first place. Okay, so since the answers that you gave were kind of along this line of like God explains so many things, I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question that's sort of, it's not going to like trap you, and I'm not trying to make you trip up and talk yourself into a corner. Just kind of like trying to explore your belief. Let's say that hypothetically tomorrow science came out and said, check it out. We figured out how the universe started. We figured out where life came from. We figured out why the world is so perfect and livable for us. And we laid it out on this nice one-page document, and you looked at this, and you know, this is a hypothetical. It's pretty unbelievable, right? But hypothetically speaking, you looked at this page and you read it over and over, and you're like, wow, man, yeah, that's a solid explanation. I guess science does have an explanation for some of these things. Would that change your confidence? Like, would you feel less confident that God really was the answer for these things, or that he existed?
I don't really think I can answer that question, because it's not based on something that could happen or will ever happen.
Yeah, it's a really implausible explanation.
Yeah, so I believe in God, and that's it. And also, like I said before, you can't, something like in the laws of science, they explain you can't create something from nothing. Nothing gets destroyed in the universe. It's always transforming into something else. Nothing gets created out of nowhere. So yeah, so that's what I think.
Okay.
And
So you've got one of those little meters over there, and we kind of use this as a confidence scale. So like 50% right there, 0% and 100. Could you move your little needle to how sure you are that some God exists and that He is the answer for these
this is
things?
100%.
Yeah, that would be 100 over there.
It's 199%.
Yeah. Well, don't go too far. You'll get back down to zero
Yeah.
again. Overflow error. Okay, so just before we finish our conversation today, you've been really great.
Thank you.
By the
You
way.
yourself as well.
Thank you, Jakey.
Jakey.
So, could you think of anything like, brainstorming here that if you found out, X, Y, and Z, whether it be science came up with this or maybe a personal experience that you have in the future, is there anything that might happen that would cause your confidence to lower on that scale?
Nothing. I'm in it to win it. That's it. Like
Okay.
I've done my research, and not only my research, and just so many things have happened in my life that I'm like, this couldn't be anyone else. But like I lift my eyes up to God, and I see things happening that I pray for. So there's like, for me, it's like impossible that things I pray for, they're like coming right in front of my face. Like the things I said, God, I want this to be like this, and the next day it's exactly how I want it. So I don't see how else, who else or what else it could be than God.
All right.
So
awesome, man. Thanks so much for sitting down.
no problem. I like to shout out my YouTube channel.
Sure,
It's
go
called
ahead.
Bros on Shows. We're on our way to 100K subscribers.
Uh-huh.
So subscribe and have fun. I know you guys are gonna love our videos. So watch them like 3-4 times so that we get that AdSense up. And have a good day. Nice
All right,
meeting you.
Thanks,
sir.
Jakey. Yeah. Have a good one. Enjoy
Have a good
your
one.
enjoy your day out here.
Oh, leaked. Oh wait, hold up. Can I get one more announcement? Okay, I also have a clothing brand. It's called leakedtm.com. You just go on the internet. Everything's sold out right now because people go crazy for our stuff. But you can follow the Instagram. It's leakedtm. And yeah, have fun, guys. Go buy some merch. And thank you.
Thanks, man.
You can take a card with you if you want. Everybody have a good day.
A lot of people like to, a lot of people here I've noticed like to just use this as an opportunity to like market themselves. It's a lot of like content creators and shit like that.
It's LA. I can't really avoid
Hollywood in particular. It is, but he's on his way to 100K, dude. That's something.
Sure, yeah. I mean, maybe if some of his followers find your channel, it could really blow up. I don't know if there would be a lot of overlap between interests. Big cute dogs, little cute dogs.
It's all about the big dogs, baby.
Yeah.
Those are the best dogs.
Wow. Getting some good practice today.
Are you talking like Mastiff or German Shepherd?
Both.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with a big dog. Yeah, I'm a fan too. This is like a known argument between my girlfriend and I. We just like don't talk about it as much anymore.
Oh, he left his water.
She's kind of a little dog. She was like medium, manageable size. And I'm like, let that thing jump on top of me. So I can't get anything.
Yeah.
Is this his water?
Oh, it must have been.
Yeah, go about it. Well, do it. I like when I first yeah, I don't have tolerance.
Is the COVID vaccine worth taking?
Talk about frequency. No, it's your turn, right?
I have so much content to edit. You guys.
Okay.
You wanna take a shot? So your chair will be right there.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
What's your name?
David.
David, I'm Quinn. Good
Nice
to meet you. Yep. So we can hear each other better with these guys on.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't know if they explained. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I see.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of a thing where you get to talk about anything that you strongly believe, and we just kind of talk about why you believe that thing. So we explore the reasons for your belief. So it's not like a debate. It's more just a conversation about something you believe. You know.
Cool. Yeah.
Anything come to mind?
Well, what's going on right now? The COVID, all that affecting people.
Yeah.
Honestly, some people believe it, some people don't. So, well, what do you think? Like,
Me personally, it's hard to say for me. I think that COVID is a real, the coronavirus is a real disease that's really affecting people. I don't know how. I'm not sure how much I should worry about it, especially at like my age. Like I'm not sure. I don't know if it's been blown up or what. So I'm kind of ignorant about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it exists and that it. Yeah. What do you think?
I have a feeling too that it exists. I feel like they're just making everything bigger than what it is.
Okay.
And over exaggerating everything, and yeah.
So what are they saying? Like, what are the exaggerations that you think are exaggerations?
I feel like the numbers are off. Like, they're not all completely right. Some of them might be true, some might not. So like, and like the vaccine they're pushing, and yeah.
Like what numbers? Like the death rates and all
the
that?
death rate, the COVID like positive numbers and all that.
Everything, you think they're all exaggerated?
Most of it, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you think the vaccine, what were you going to say about the vaccine? Sorry, I cut you off.
They keep pushing it, get the vaccine, you can't go here without the vaccine, you can't do this,
Right.
you can't do that. It's kind of wrong.
It's wrong for them to restrict access to places
Yeah.
if you don't have the vaccine.
There's people that their religion doesn't allow them to get the vaccine, and they're still pushing people that, you can't get an exemption.
Yeah. And you think that that's wrong that... Okay, so I got a question. If it's true, so you think that that COVID is real?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Do you think that the vaccine either prevents you from getting the disease or prevents you from dying? Do you think it works?
Honestly, at this point, nobody knows, because like, there's people that get the vaccine and still get COVID, and like, yeah.
Okay.
It might help people, because like, I don't know exactly what's in it or what it is, but
Okay.
yeah.
And I guess my question is, I guess we can just talk about it hypothetically. If hypothetically it did work, if the vaccine did work, then would it still be wrong for like institutions to push people to get the vaccine?
Just depends what was in it. Let's say if it's something that can affect people in the long run, or even if it can still cure them, but if it can still affect them in the long run, it's not worth it.
Oh, if it has long-term effects?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say it didn't.
If it didn't, it was all good. It should be up to the person. Like.
Okay, so no matter what, it's not
anyone
okay.
for themselves. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. So, let's say, okay, so I just want to get the claim together, because this is an interesting one. Maybe the claim could be like institutions or the government or any sort of institution shouldn't push the vaccine on people, no matter what.
Yeah, they shouldn't push it. If a person wants to get it and they think it's right to get it, they should. If not, like, what's the point?
On a scale of 0 to 100, if this is 0 and that's 100, how confident are you in that claim? Just push it to where your confidence is.
Honestly, if on a person deciding if they want to get it or not.
No, on your claim that institutions shouldn't push the vaccine on people.
That they shouldn't push it 100%.
100? Can you push it on yours?
100%.
100%. Okay. Why are you 100% on that?
Because like me myself, I don't want to get it, because like I don't know if it's right, I don't know if it's wrong either, but I feel like I don't know if it's worth getting it, or I feel like I'll be better off without it. Like, I've had COVID, I got COVID, I recovered it. I felt like it was a regular flu.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel like, I mean, the claim is that I keep losing it, sorry, that people shouldn't push the vaccine on others.
Yeah.
Governments, companies, nobody, and people, would you also say that people shouldn't require a vaccine for you to work or enter their
Well, like
place
they're,
of
they're
business?
saying you gotta go to a restaurant. Oh, they're gonna ask for your vaccine card.
yeah.
So can you turn around and ask, let's say, the waiter, oh, have you ever had a STD or have you ever had this? Have you had that? Like, in general, like let's say maybe they've had a different disease or
Uh-huh.
different sickness. Can you ask them? They're not gonna tell you.
Right.
So why would they require you to have it?
Oh, you're saying like because we're allowed privacy in all these other diseases like STDs, we should treat COVID the same way. Like you should be able to be private about it,
Yeah,
like have it and not have to
exactly.
tell anybody about it. Okay.
Exactly. Like if you have it, obviously you're gonna have like the courtesy to not get out, like not only get out of the house, but like act in a way where you're like a little bit far from people. If you're sick, you don't want to get other people sick.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do think that like if you have it, you should be safe
You
and
should,
not
like-
and try not to give it to other people.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Think smart about it.
But that should be up to you. That should be up to the individual.
Yeah, of
is what I'm getting. Like, if someone wants to go out and give people the disease, that should be their right.
I mean, if they're dumb enough to do that, then what can you do?
Or you shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. And what I'm curious about is like, what would have to happen in order to get this, like here, or even way over here? Like how would the world have to be different, or what would you have to change your mind about, I guess?
Well,
in order to not be that confident anymore, if anything.
honestly, as long as I feel like they stop pushing it and like they take a little bit of chill on it, like whoever wants to get the vaccine, let them get it. If not, like
No, yeah, my question is more like, what would convince you that it's good for the government to push the vaccine? Could anything, like
At
let's
this point-
say we saw that some other country was pushing the vaccine even harder than we were, and like the virus was not as much just at all, and the numbers were shooting through the roof and people were dying, etc. Would that convince you any which way?
not really, because I look at it in a personal way where like, let's say I had COVID and they tell me, oh, you should get the vaccine because it's good, it'll help you. But I feel like if I recover without anything, I could recover without it, and I feel like it's better to. Like, I don't think anything would convince me at this point.
For you personally to get it?
The vaccine?
Yeah. Nothing could convince you to get the vaccine.
Not really, no. I haven't gotten it, and really, it's
Yeah, nothing could convince you.
Yeah, nothing convinced me.
Okay, well thanks, man. What's your name again?
David.
David, it's good to meet you.
Same here.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for stopping by.
Anytime, thank you.
Oh yeah, do you want a squishy puzzle piece?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I called it at some point because it...
Get the feeling.
Yeah.
Welcome to my home.
I think in general people really enjoy talking to somebody. It's such an open, honest.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Reed. It's been going well, I hear.
Yeah, going really well. Had a bunch of good chats. Jacob is here. Quinn is here from Quinn Questions. Have you seen Quinn's channel?
I haven't, but I'll add it to my list.
He's got a good channel.
I think so. Yeah.
Got a slight headache. It worries me.
Been drinking water?
Should. I've been drinking Frappuccino.
That's right. That was about when I left.
Yeah, lunch. It takes a while. It took a while for me. Probably like 40 to 50 minutes. Between 40 to an hour to get to the top.
And back.
Not more than an hour. Not
I
like
think
a 2
so.
3 hour hike.
Yeah, no.
It's easier that way.
Oh, one way is 1 hour, is that what you said?
Yeah, I forgot which way. I think I just went up straight that way. But you're saying
like
this?
is the there and back 50 minutes?
No, I'd say the there and back is like over an hour. But to get to the top is maybe just under an hour, or was for me.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Yeah, water's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't notice that?
It's not even pointing at the table, is it?
No.
Oh.
I can cover it from here, and I've got the one there. I just want. Oh my God, that's so cute. Oh my God. It's like a fluffy baby.
Yeah, it's like an Ewok face.
Yeah, it's like a baby Ewok.
I love when their tongues hang out too. Did you see that corgi mix that came by a minute ago? It had the face of a border collie and the legs of a corgi. And I wonder, like, will these dogs ever comprehend that they were created by us to look silly?
Sexually selected for cuteness.
To what?
Sexually selected for cuteness.
Right, yeah.
I think one of my beliefs is that dogs are probably man's best creation. Like right beside the internet.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand with the two of them.
Kind of, yeah. Cats more so.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a lot more popular online.
I don't know if cats were our creation though, as much as dogs are. There's cat breeds, but and I heard that we didn't even domesticate cats, but they just continue to parasitize our civilization.
Yeah.
Like there was a formal, period. It took 30,000 years of humans interacting with dogs for them to sort of like selectively become more docile.
That's crazy.
And then
40,000 years?
Yeah, over a period of like a really long time of them picking up scraps from our camps, and the ones that stuck around were more docile.
Yeah.
So there was like this selection, and then that never happened with cats. They just sort of ate all the rats, and we kept them around, but we didn't breed them or select for anything.
Wow.
Which is why they're kind of still
There probably has
assholes.
been some, I guess I hesitate to say, more natural form of selection going on there with cats, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because they chose to stick around, and we kept them and started feeding them
Totally.
catnip or whatever.
Yeah, when I used to live out in the country, we had a cat that would only come by like once or twice a week. It has a whole other life. We're just one stop on its journey.
Maybe a cat might be the best animal to be, honestly. You
Totally.
get freedom, comfort.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go out and kill birds and mice and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So when I was talking to that Jewish kid about predetermination or predetermined whatever, would you have taken that into the God belief?
It's interesting. Me personally, I was listening, and I think I would have taken it into a free will determination conversation,
Mm-hmm.
just because that is more interesting to me at this point. But I like that you took it on the God route,
Yeah.
because that is more basic. That is the reason why he has that predetermination belief.
Yeah. But I wonder though if like maybe that's more core to his belief, but it's also a dead end. And you could have actually made some kind of progress somewhere with the
On the free will conversation.
free will thing.
Yeah. Maybe.
That was on super hard mode because his moral community was standing right there.
Did you hear the round of applause?
Yeah.
When he broke the 100 scale.
That's not biasing anything. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
It's hilarious.
I watched the 3 conversations. The 2 that I had, and then the vaccine guy from Echo Park last week. I watched mom and stepdad.
Which oh wow. And the last vaccine guy?
The no Nice. Neat.
So you watched it with some.
Yeah, I watched it
What they think?
as like an intro to SE. Thought it was very cool. They kept on pausing it, being like, you're just kind of like laughing and, who the fuck is this guy? Why didn't you tell him about these studies? Why didn't you tell him about this?
Yeah.
And but then they got it though at the end. They were like, oh, I see. Hopefully he'll think about this some more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm planning now that I have a clips channel and I've got this long stream, I'm going to upload just the wide shot and the good audio of the clips of the conversations from today, hopefully by tonight, maybe by tomorrow, but having them timely uploaded.
Oh, cool.
That'd be nice. And I'll just upload the super interesting ones to my main channel.
That would be really helpful because, like, this guy I talked to, I was thinking, like, oh, I gotta send this to my ex-Jewish friends.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. Because I wonder how big, if that predeterminism thing is just, like, in particular for Judaic Christian or Judaic theism, if that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think that's Calvinism when you believe in determinism because of God, because God ordained it. I think so.
Oh, like the Puritans.
Well, I think
was that part of that?
Yeah, it was, but I think Calvinism is now like the philosophical position of determinism because of God. I think.
Okay.
The Christian version of it, yeah.
The Christian version, yeah. But it's so interesting. It's like it's a form of compatibilism because he thinks that you do have free will in the form of prayer, I think is what he said.
Oh, right. That would have been cool to go in that route because of that. That you can influence.
Yeah, you can influence the determined. You can influence God's determined plan through your own prayer. It's an interesting way to go down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that without making it like a theological discussion.
You can just petition the determiner to determine things differently, even though the determiner knows what's going to happen, maybe? I don't know. It's complicated.
Did he know you were going to petition him?
There's no point.
Yeah.
Like, he determined you to pray in the anyway, so what's the point of praying?
Yeah. I think it's inconsistent, personally, that view of his.
Yeah, I didn't understand that when I was Mormon.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're ex-Mormon.
Because they have a kind of like foreordination is their word for it.
Foreordination.
Foreordination. Prefix for, and then ordination like a calling.
What does that mean?
It means that God pretty much decides our fate before we were born.
Okay, right.
So it's like the Mormon version, and
were you also taught that thing that he said about changing your thing through prayer?
Those two beliefs were taught, but not as like two sides of the same coin. They were more just like separate things. It's like, if you pray for something and it is God's will, then it could happen. And also God has a whole plan for you. And I think I always saw the people who said like, yeah, I understand how God's plan of foreordination is not incompatible with free will. And they would recommend some books by prophets, and I felt like, wow, one day I'm going to understand how this is not some big like cosmic paradox.
Yeah.
And
I
didn't.
Got to that point.
I didn't reach that point.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm not much of a resource for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I need a real Mormon here to explain.
My second time sitting down ever to do SC, I caught a real Mormon.
That wasn't this time.
No, that was last week.
Nice. Did you tell him you were an ex-Mormon?
Yeah. He asked if I was anti.
Anti-religious?
Anti is like Mormon vernacular for anti-Mormon. It just means that you work for the devil, like under contract.
How did you respond?
No. I think you should say no when they ask. Even though I feel like I actively, contradict church's goals with a lot of things I do. By their definition of anti-SC would be anti-Mormon.
Well, is baked into the definition that you're knowingly working for the devil, or just even unknowingly?
I think that they kind of characterize you as knowingly, even though a lot of people who they label as anti-Mormon don't actually think they're working for the devil.
Right.
But sometimes when I'm having conversations with my Mormon friends who are still faithful, and they'll say something like, you know, I believe that you will one day return to the faith and God will accept you.
Yeah, I have a lot of those conversations with my grandparents.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
When I'm feeling brave, I'll tell them, did you know that I do more for Satan than I do for God nowadays?
I've never gone that far.
These are people I grew up with and they're my age and there's really nothing at stake.
Seem a lot like an agent of Satan.
But just to see how does this fit into your plan of me eventually becoming faithful again? Didn't Saul actually kill Christians before becoming Paul? So maybe this isn't as effective as I think it is.
Are we out of water? I think we are.
There's 4 left in there.
Okay.
I need a rock and rolling multi-part R12.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Carrying around all these heavy
Want to do an interview?
Dude, I kind of gotta go to the
Your turn, Jacob.
Let me just check it out.
We could do a 2-minute mini interview. Didn't I talk to you on the way out?
Yeah, you did.
How was your hike?
What is true that most people stigmatize as false? Are any mainstream institutions deliberately lying about anything? I don't think. I mean, I'm the thing. If I have a good answer that's worth sharing, I'll do it.
Zone a little bit.
What is true that most people stigmatize as false? It's a great question. It's a really phenomenal question. I just don't want to come up with an answer to come up with an answer. If I have something to actually share, I'll share.
Yeah.
Is the COVID vaccine worth taking? Or the worst? Yeah, if the Mercedes find me answering that, they'll freak out. Or the worst answer. Okay, I don't have enough of an opinion here to share something really valuable, but I appreciate what you guys are doing. Good luck.
That's all right, yeah.
Have a fun game.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which game are you going?
Huh?
Which game?
The Chargers preseason game.
Ooh.
All right.
There you go.
Chargers. Which sport is Chargers?
Football.
I was gonna say basketball.
Chargers.
San Diego Chargers. No, they came to LA recently. Yeah.
Did you hear what happened with the Guardians? Remember the Redskins were changing to the Guardians?
Oh, I did not know that.
Or is this Philadelphia? So, the social criticism of this team being named after an indigenous people, they decided to change their name and they changed it to the Guardians, only to find out that there's already a trademarked sports team in that same city. I think it's in Philadelphia called the Guardians. It's some other sport, I don't know.
Damn.
But it would have taken one Google search to prevent
out.
this. They made a big announcement and everything.
Wow. So they're changing again.
Yeah, they can't do the Guardians.
Yeah. When people start, I know about sports, but I never want to talk about it. So if someone says oh, did you see that Chargers game last night? I'll just go, is that baseball or something?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know it's football,
Mm-hmm.
Because I just would rather not have a conversation about preseason.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Props to you for knowing what's going on in the sports world.
Somewhat. I used to be a fan.
Yeah. I could tell you the shape of all the balls they use.
That's a start, for sure.
If you say sphere, you're going to be right most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easy.
That's a start.
Reed, who was saying during poker a couple weeks ago about ivermectin? Do you remember who was talking about that? So, FDA just made an announcement yesterday about their big anti-ivermectin stance. So I wanted to share that with him, see what he thinks.
Oh, what
kind of doge is this?
Hello. Would you like to have a brief discussion? It's very non-confrontational.
They did not.
No.
They did not want to have a conversation. That was way too good for you guys.
Probably. I wonder if dogs hold any beliefs. They've gotta, right?
That's actually a good philosophical question. I don't
Can't they like bury stuff and find it later?
What?
Can't they bury things and find it later?
Yeah.
do.
So that's like a thought.
That's like object permanence.
It's a thought.
It's a model of the reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hello. They probably have beliefs like, you know, I believe that my master or owner, whoever this person is, will take care of me and feed me.
Right.
Hopefully, you know, they believe that.
Yeah, I think you could argue that they have beliefs that they express through action. Like if a cat, for instance, chooses to eat wet food over dry food or something,
Mm-hmm.
I think you could classify that as a belief. That they, right? Or at least a thought.
Mm-hmm.
That they think one thing is better than another thing. Maybe it's just instinct. I don't know. What's the
Maybe our
difference there?
beliefs are just instincts.
Yeah.
There's probably a very, like, well-described branch of philosophy about
Animal
the epistemology of animals. And we're just, like, scratching the surface.
I saw like a sidewalk graffiti thing down there that said SSN for animals. I think it's like
SSM?
SSN, like Social Security number.
Hmm.
I think it's a movement trying to get Social Security numbers for animals,
Oh, interesting.
so they become like citizens.
More, yeah, personhood status. I've heard people trying to campaign for a gorilla personhood.
If I were to give
Specifically,
any
chimpanzee
animal
maybe.
personhood, I think gorilla for sure.
Yeah. They'd beat you up if you didn't.
You were so close.
You should get one of those sound effects pads, Reed. Can you do like pew pew pew?
I can put that sound on one of the pads.
That would be really handy for your stream.
What, like mid-conversation?
Yeah.
Someone makes a good point or something?
Yeah. You ask like, so how can you still be at 80% certainty if? And they're like, yeah, you know, that's a good question. Pew pew.
Belief destroyed. SC once again. Pew, pew, pew.
You play like the battleship, like. Pew. Yeah, that would be how you got more mainstream, I think.
Alright, I think we're gonna get out of here. Great to see you guys.
Yeah,
Is
it was
Booker
nice to meet
happening
you.
tonight? Might join. Oh.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Yeah. Quinn
Adios.
and Asha.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
Asher.
It's Asha.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
It's not common.
That was close. See you later.
ASHA is the acronym for the professional organization associated with my career. American Speech Hearing Association. They pronounce it ASHA. I think that's what my brain did. It was like, oh, it must be ASHA. You're going to be tearing down here soon? Can I give you a hand?
Say goodbye to the stream. Do we still have a stream happening?
Yeah, you're still up. Yeah, you're still up, Reed.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks, Joe, for stopping by.
No worries.
Yeah, had some good chats today, and poker tonight. And
yeah, I might
yeah,
stop by
hopefully I'll
for a
have
burger
the-
if there's space at the table.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have the clips up later tonight or tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome, Adam.
See ya.